on The Adam Dunn Show. Famed cannabis attorney Bob Hoban and activist extraordinaire, patient number one, the guy who probably started it all, Jason Lauve.
Let's go.
Don't forget Mike.
Oh, don't forget Mike.
Mike de Klerk.
Mike de Klerk. Spelt Hollandish.
Hey, I'm on top. Otherwise, it looks like we're not even close at all. Can I sit on your guys' laps? Shit, I'm
No,
way
is that a
over
real
here.
question? Were you being facetious?
I was being facetious.
Darn.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Charnick.
And I'm Katie.
We're live in the studio. We got live guests here in the studio, and we've got guests zooming in. We got Jason Lauve coming in later in the show, around quarter. I gave him a quarter past. I figured we would meld our stories around then. And we've also got Michael de Klerk coming in, also from Deschedule.earth. We got rescheduling, we got descheduling, we got fucking seeds on the chopping block. We got so much scheduling. There's so much bullshit going on in the industry right now. We had to bring in the big guns. As usual, we go straight to the top. We run in Bob. And he came here. I can't even believe it. I think his career has gone down the tubes now because it's over. Like he's like in the studio. He could pretend he didn't know he's not here, but if he's here,
You got an underground spot?
Self-deprecation.
Yeah, you got an underground spot.
This is going to be getting pulled up at the UN one day. They're going to be like, oh, "Excuse me, Bob, is this you? Are you at the Adam Dunn Show? Because we've heard.
We've got video of you going in and out.
That's right. So welcome to the show.
So you're like one of the original names in Canna Law from, I want to say, back to 2009, am I going
2008, 2009, yeah.
So when because Jeff Gard is our spiritual and legal advisor, and you guys were, not on the same paths. He was more criminal. You were really advising the industry and directing sort of how to make money in the space and not go to jail, and not need Jeff to represent you afterwards. So
Jeff is the man, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to Jeff.
We love him. And his band. Come on now.
Oh, that's right. Isn't it next week, right?
Lollapalooza?
No.
Main stage? Is he at main stage?
Didn't he? No. He sent me an email. I figured he sent it to you.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't be here. He's got a gig.
Oh, that was.
Were we going to do a head-to-head? We were going for like the $800 an hour show or something? Is that what we're happening?
Oh, no. That's $800 an hour just with Bob here.
Oh, yeah,
if Jeff
true.
were here,
yeah, we'd be like,
$850.
Those days are behind me, I can assure you.
Like by the hour. What are you talking about?
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what you're doing now because Adam and I were talking, and we try not to talk before the show, we were talking how the sort of the contrast or juxtaposition between, Jason, who would want it to be completely open for everybody, free, laissez-faire, hands-off, no taxes, no real just grow it and they will benefit. And you're more the guy of, I'm going to show you how to write a business plan that's going to make you successful and not wind up having to testify in front of a judge in robes.
Hopefully not. Yeah, I mean that was the gig, right? Back in the day, of course, Rob Corey was running around swinging his sword.
You're going old school. Wow.
Samurai swords are out already. That was quick.
And there was, of course, the great Tay Darnell. There was Drew Gottlieb. There was Sean McAllister. Of course, our friends over Vicente Cedarberg. All those guys, right? And we were all hustling, but we all did things a different way. And to your point, I've always been a big fan of the plant, big fan of cannabis, but it was really the opportunity to sort of separate, I think, ourselves as our firm towards a business focus, right? And that was always my plan. The more businesses that I could open up, that was the impact I was going to have on the world, or help open up, should I say, because I was not taking the risks. I was the lawyer. And other folks, they were driving policy. They were, sort of channeling the movement into what's now an industry. And that's the way I like to describe it. What happens when a movement, which is what we started with for decades and decades before all of us, becomes an industry, and then it becomes an industry, and all of a sudden you've got these rules. You better buck up or go home, and that's where we thought we came in. So
Yeah, like
The integration process.
And I came here in 2010, so it was right around the same time, and it was interesting because I've been living in a quasi-legal system for a long time. It wasn't legal to the point where you could claim anything. It was exactly the same situation, like the same 280E type things, the same, like you really just knew you were paying bullshit because you were allowed to operate in that space, but there was no like as a grower, you had no security. That's what blew me away when I first came here. I went back to Amsterdam and was like, dude, I was sitting in on meetings with like contractors who were talking to the electricians, who were talking to the city. I was like, this is crazy. We've always had to do it cloak and dagger and
duct tape and extension cords.
Exactly. And tape up your windows and fucking,
Any dead skunk on the highway winds up in front of your house.
And so it was like exciting for me to come back and see that all developing. But I was also like, dude, this shit's moving at crazy breakneck speed where like if you're going in with one idea, by the time you've completed it, it's all different. You know what I mean? Like, so how was it in those first years as far as like, I mean, it must have been advantageous in one way because you get the same customer 3 times over because he keeps fucking up because he keeps thinking he's got it right or whatever. But any of those original people that you were working with are still in business, or is it like, who's the oldest? Let's put it that way. Who's the first one that you ever worked with that might still be in business? Because most of them obviously.
Listen, man.
Nobody's going. They're all gone.
That's the thing, right?
You spoke to Tripp at Dixie.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen and spoke to Tripp recently. I mean, look, all those guys. Colorado was an interesting market. Those first movers, those people that put their neck out there on the line, a lot of them hit while the iron was hot, right? They cashed out or they figured out how to get out. So then what you see in Colorado is less of a community like it used to be and amongst the owners and more, it's still a community, but it's not like the owners like it was back in the day where all the owners were friends and all the owners were hanging out.
Well, they were all having the same issues at the same time too, so they were all kind of going through it. So
building the airplane as they fly it, as they
kind of
say.
needed
Building landing gear after you're in the air.
Well, I even noticed it. I even noticed it though. Like for instance, at the first Hood Lab we had on 6th and Santa Fe, it was like really when everybody was bubbling, right? So we had Pink House, we had River Rock, we had everybody at our parties hanging out together.
Yeah.
And then there was slowly you started to see certain groups not show up.
Yep.
And then once they didn't show up, then it was like it started to like just sort of in front of our eyes. It was like, oh, okay, so now they don't hang out with them anymore. Once and it was just like I think that's kind of how the whole market matured anyway. Right?
And those guys got out when they could, and that really was where it came down to. Because remember, when it started in Colorado, the dispensaries were opening up before there was state regulation, right? As you well know, and so it was a backpack game, right? That backpack, that's how you stocked your store, and you needed a stack of patient cards, and I had a stack of patient cards, probably the same stack of patient cards in every location I could, so it gave me cover to grow that cannabis. And then the stores were unregulated. Then the regulations came in. That really threw everybody upside down. But yeah, you talk about Pink House, you talk about the Dixie folks, you talk about Keith Cola guys are still around doing it, right?
Incredibles.
Incredibles is still around. Although some of the people have moved on. But yeah, it's when I go to other states and other places, you've got that original culture still happening where the owners all hang out together, and we don't have that as much here.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch it repeat though, because you already can identify it. So you walk in the room,
patterns are the same.
And you're like, this is just like 2015 right here.
Or you go, this is just like 2015.
Yeah, they don't know what's about to hit them. You know what I mean? Or like the regs are about to kick. So like Oklahoma is a great example. Like you got to see like everybody leaving town here. I'm going. I was like seeing and it was like literally like clockwork. They all started coming back because they realized like, oh fuck yeah, there is when you put the bar so low, like $2,500, unlimited canopy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're just like, dude, you're just invited the worst of the worst at that point because everybody's like taking the, they're gonna reach way too deep, and of course then you've attracted all the triads and all the fucking, all the wrong people, and so then now look at now it's like the last place you want to set up shop because the market's fucked.
Well, you said Oklahoma, so. The three of us laughed when Oklahoma legalized, and we're hearing stories about people walking into dispensaries carrying a firearm.
Oh yeah,
and it was this status thing to say I walked into a dispensary with a firearm. Isn't the Supreme Court hearing that case right now?
Well, listen, that is there have been prohibitions about possessing cannabis and firearms under federal law at the same time, but at the end of the day, Oklahoma is an interesting thing, and this goes to a point that I always like to make is every jurisdiction, whether you're a state, a city, a country, you legalize it for different reasons. Sometimes it's, patient justice. Sometimes it's criminal justice reform. Sometimes it's an economic driver. Sometimes people just don't want to miss out on the party. That's what's kind of what happening across Europe right now. Every country is looking and saying, I want to participate in this.
Once Germany kicked in, they were like, what?
And they're leading the way.
Exactly. And by the way, I don't know if you've been over there recently, but the cannabis is not, it's mid-grade at best.
Subpar, yeah.
So this whole...
Whoa, shots fired, dude.
Well, listen,
that's European.
Hold on a second.
in the commercial
He did
market.
bring some Moroccan hash, so
Vinny
there
needs
are
to give
some
the
places
disclaimer.
that still...
The opinions of Bob Hoban do not express anything about anything that we say.
I mean, Europe. So the
It's
thing
in the
is, like,
description.
it was very noticeable when I first moved there too. Like they were always behind when it came to cannabis. Like with hash culture, they were always ahead because that was kind of their thing. But they also were in the old world of hash, and then America got into it, and then just as America does, fucking went deep and took it to the next level where they were like they were just skipping all the original steps and going straight to that. Whereas in Europe, when I first got there, most of the weed sucked. You know what I mean? It was like, whoa, this weed. And when I worked in the industry, every person that came in, if they were from Cali, they're going to go, dude, I got better weed at home, or whatever. And if they were from some state which was like super, restricted, for them it was like a kid in a candy store. Everything was good, But that was my formula. I would come back to America and bring back the cuts that were the ones that I knew were tried and true, because it wouldn't have survived in the industry. It wouldn't have survived the streets of America at that point, And then you bring it back there, and it's like winner every time, winner. It's like no, can't go wrong.
Well, you talk about you and cuts. This is a story about Uruguay. So I did some work down there, and every time I went down there, and we went to the club system where people can gather and grow their cannabis together. They were all Adam Dunn tissue cultures. They were all, and people were super, super proud of that. And it really goes to a testament to sort of what you're talking about, is bringing the best and the brightest together. And when I talk about Germany, I'm not talking about that cannabis as a whole by craft growers is bad, but it's the same old story. When you make it a commercial system.
And the thing about it, what I noticed when I lived there was that, the real heart of a lot of the cannabis culture was America. It was like all the Americans that went there were the ones who, would buy all the weed on the menu, literally come in. The guys would be like, holy fuck, this one guy came in, he bought like 600 euros worth of weed. To them, that's like outrageous, because most guys come in and buy 10 euros at a time or something, right? And so it's like the obsession, and then also the fact that now of course it's like if you really want to get into it, you get into it. But back in the day, people made a pilgrimage there because they just wanted to talk about it. Oh, I want to talk to somebody, and they tell you everything. You know what I mean? So it was like always fun to watch. But now it's those new states, similar. You almost get the same vibe where it's just like, and I make a joke that it's shrinking, like the happiness moment is shrinking every time. It used to be like a year, 2 years. Now it's like months, days, and it could be hours as the next. Because people are like, they get their first receipt and they're like, "What the fuck, dude? The taxes are this. I'm just going to my home." Like anyway, and so now it's kind of like the whole industry is eating itself in a weird way, just because they're trying to catch up, and they'll never catch up because the amount of money they've dumped into their industry is outrageous.
Well, and remember, they have to build an entire supply chain state by state by state. There's no efficiency, right? So so then all of a sudden we're going to start abandoning that. If there's going to be interstate commerce, then
well, Cali's going to dominate. Central Valley will dominate just because of the location. They got the trains there ready to go. Load the train, send it off to the East Coast. You got $60 ounces from Cali, or you got $100 ounces from New York. You're like, we're taking the $60 from Cali, and it's better. The weed's better. You know what I mean? Because it's like treated, and it's all comes down to, again, usually it's handling. That's one thing that cannabis is notoriously mismanaged. Like they grow it great, it smells great, get it in like what? Like what happened? You know what I mean? And it's just like Colorado's brutal in one way. Yep. Oklahoma's brutal in the opposite way. Like there's just all these different, conditions and stuff. So what'd you do in Uruguay? Was it working with the government, or you were?
Yeah, no, I was.
Don't break any confidences here. We don't need anybody to kick the door.
I will do my best. No, I got hired to do some consulting work with their government. The former president, who's now deceased, the late great Pepe Mujica.
He was awesome.
He was awesome.
He was the best guy.
Awesome.
I met him in Amsterdam one time, and it was just like a dude. You know what I mean?
So I get picked up at the airport. I end up at his house, sitting in front of his VW bus
say the bus,
on a
yeah.
fold-up chair, smoking a joint with the president.
Yeah.
Within the first 55 minutes of me landed in Montevideo.
That's awesome.
And that opened my eyes.
So you know what happened when
That's incredible.
when I met him was because he was in Amsterdam and he lost his passport, right? And he couldn't. And this is like obviously he wasn't president at the time, but he lost his passport and he was like, if you look at him, you don't think this guy's like, whoa, this is the most important guy in the world. But he was hanging out with Ben, Dronkers, and Ben basically hooked him up, like gave him like 10 grand. Made sure he, got all his stuff, paperwork for him, figured it out. And when he got home, he was like, kind of forever indebted to you type deal. And but before all that, it was just kind of like he was just there hanging out because he was stuck for waiting for his passport or whatever. And then later when I saw when he won and he was sitting in front of the, with the same deal, Volkswagen Bug or whatever, and it was just like, that's the president right there? Like, fuck yeah. And I was like, oh, dude, I met that guy. I know that guy. But yeah, super cool. And you couldn't get a better represent. So so now who's in charge now? Like,
I don't know who the president of Uruguay is right now.
But I mean,
That's a good question.
they've stuck to their policies though. They haven't had any issues.
Look,
beyond.
it's something like 75% of Uruguayans have historically consistently smoked cannabis.
Yeah,
and a lot of that came from Paraguay, and it was kind of like
it was garbage.
Just garbage, but quality, but also just crap with pesticides and all that stuff.
Rock hard buds.
What was the joke? What was it, 15 years ago? Paraguay legalizes cannabis. Thousands of stoners flock and buy tickets to Uruguay.
That sounds about right.
One guay is another guay,
Well, but and now you've got right across the river in Argentina, you got Brazil, you've got so many different countries down there with programs, and a lot of those programs mirror what we started with in Colorado, where it was sort of the caregiver type system, which is nonprofit, really geared towards patients and less about the commercial side.
Doomed for failure once capitalism takes over.
Damn if it's not true. Damn if it's not true.
Well, here's a good. This is a good time to sort of jump into this part, which is the part we hate the most. But because now this is where I'm getting really like such mixed signals on this whole medical thing, because we're going into this point where we're accepting it in one way, we're saying we're not going to touch this over here, which we never can trust that.
Who says that?
Well, they're saying that they're carving out, like, the rec is not getting affected by this medical thing. But then again, it's also opening the doors for Big Pharma, which is what we've been trying to keep freaking closed forever. Yeah. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, wait, I think this is getting really sloppy. And the worst part is that the victim of all of this is going to be the medical programs, because once they're in conflict with the government in any way, shape, or form, and they're saying anything medical, so how do we save this? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is there an angle?
So, it depends what you're trying to save, right? I mean, you've got increasing home grow rights in many states. So it's not as many places as it should be, but you've got states that have, the ability to grow, just be 21 or over. You've got states with the medical programs where the people can grow at home. So then that's kind of at least established. Right? It's not perfect, but it's decriminalized.
Well, we need to keep
important.
that. That's the most important part.
Got to keep that. And then you've got, patient systems, and, access has always been the most important thing for patients. But at the end of the day, a lot of patients don't know how to use cannabis, right? So, and there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines saying, I don't want a natural product. I want a pill. That ain't you or I. Probably not anybody we know, but there's a lot of Americans that want it that way. So you've got these different systems. You got decriminalization, the right to grow. You've got a over-the-counter cannabis system, and then you got a pharmaceutical system. They all get messed up, and guess what screwed things up, or at least threw the wild card out there a little bit more? Recent action from the White House. The Schedule 3 thing. Mm-hmm. Does that solve problems, or does that just make it worse? And I think it makes it worse.
That's what we want you to answer for
I
us.
say worse. I don't know what you think.
So we had on the show Tony Minetti. Okay. You know him?
I don't.
He's a pharmacy owner with a DEA pharmacy license. It's partitioned by a wall.
Yep.
And has a dispensary on the other side.
Okay.
Jersey, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My home state, by the way.
What exit? Sorry. He was Chicken Little to the nth degree. Okay. He says it basically ends the entire cannabis industry as we know it, and his argument just comes down to what Schedule 3 drug can you go into a dispensary and not have prescribed by a doctor?
Right.
And so what is here? I mean, is it doom and gloom? Are they going to just say we're going to stay out of it for a little while until we forget, and then they're going to find a way to take it from us, or what's
They're taking applications right now, the DEA is, from medical marijuana business licensees in the different states. So people started applying in the last few days. There's 2 questions on that application, one of which says, have you ever sold a controlled substance without a permit? Does that disqualify you? Does it disqualify everybody? We don't know the answers to these questions. And do you really want to participate in that system?
It's like the tax stamp once again.
Well, no,
they're
they
like,
asked.
oh, you didn't have.
You need
oh,
a stamp, but don't grow it because it's illegal.
Like you're outing yourself, but if you don't do it, you're fucked even more. So you're like, okay, so what do we do? Do we do it? And then when you do it, they don't have it. Like that was kind of their whole thing. You do.
But when was the other question? Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Right?
Yes.
A cannabis crime. So that is in conflict.
Well, especially when the
with
answers are
social
yes,
equity.
no, and not yet.
Yeah, right.
Did it say not yet?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because I'm about to. About to.
But I mean, that is kind of crazy though too, because again, like we already went through this whole thing to like, it was most obvious to me that the people that should get to the front of the line are the people who had most affected by it, proving that they were the most passionate about it and they had the most best intentions about it, compared to like, oh, it's legal now, let's throw a bunch of money at it, which is just like, that's been always the double edge of the whole thing. Like, I don't want it to get legal for that reason. Like, I don't want to see the real money come in, because that'll kill all the small people, because there's no way to compete. Just like when a Walmart moves into town, you're fucked. I mean, all the hardware stores can just shut down, and and if there's a clothing store, forget about it, always because they're going to be like, what? So you can see that in front of your eyes.
What I think is going to happen is, look, you got this, all right, FDA and DEA can approve a specific cannabis formulation if you're going to go down that route. And also, this was important, if you're a medical licensee, you can apply. You can go over to the other side now. Now, on June 29th, separate from medical, there's a hearing about whether cannabis should be descheduled or rescheduled for other than medical uses, meaning adult use or just, typical possession. So we don't know where that's going to go. It's probably going to get, now it should stay a Schedule I substance. But this is okay, and I'll tell you why it's okay. Because then the state programs continue to maintain their place. The state programs aren't perfect. We've seen them all hit the bottom of their business. But at the end of the day, if the state programs survive, at least patients get access, and at least the existing businesses can.
So they don't get the only benefit that people even care about, and the people that are the loudest about this, is their whole tax exempt on the 280E. So they don't get that if they're not part of the program, right? If they're still Schedule I, then they're not.
Right. If
they don't have access to this. So that, like, literally was the only thing that people thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. And then they'll be like, what? Wait a minute, we don't get that. Like, that's, and you're still the same, and you're fucking,
And now it's paved for big interest.
Farm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which
doesn't make sense.
Which, always think is happening anyway, regardless. And now we kind of let our guard down and it happened.
That's kind of always been my approach. It's like, we can sit and we can say it shouldn't be this or deschedule only, this and that, but we got to deal with the reality of things. Always push forward, always try to exploit those things. But at the same time, it's like we're living in a reality that any progress is good progress, I think. And if cannabis at least becomes decriminalized as a result of all this, that's progress in and of itself.
Yeah, but our thoughts on this is that you'll never go back. Once it goes to this, it won't go back. Then it won't change. Like the amount of time, it's only taken 80 years to get to this point, right? So now all of a sudden we're going to like wait. Oh yeah, they're going to do it next year. It's going to be just.
They make too much money off of us.
That's why when our next guests come in, they can pop in pretty much anytime they want, but when really to us descheduling is the only way.
Yep.
It's just the problem is that there's so much money involved now that they're going to feel like, oh, we've invested millions into our license, and now you guys could just have a farmer's market and what, and that's
what happened in New York, by the way.
And that's pretty much what should happen. I mean, it literally should be, it's like David versus Goliath situation where we're not talking like, once you get to a certain point, yeah, you need to then go up into that scale. But if you're talking like under, a certain canopy size and under a certain amount of sales per year, just the fact that is the most clean, direct source for a lot of patients who would then not have to go into a store and deal with bullshit. And those people don't care about them anyway. Whereas I go to the market every Saturday and I meet the same guy and he gives me the same product and it's awesome and it's organic and I can trust it, Which here it's all radiated bullshit weed, which you're like, once you get in the industry, you're just like, oh my God, this is horrible.
But don't you think most regular cannabis consumers continue to access their cannabis through not commercial marketplace? I don't go to dispensaries necessarily.
No. This is what we've discovered on the show. We don't represent the mainstream.
We know that.
Okay, we don't.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who don't know anyone and don't trust the others. So they go to a dispensary because they've gone to a liquor store and gone to a candy store, and the Hershey and Snickers, and they're all the same. You know, it's the same Snickers you get there is the same one you get there.
Yep.
We talked about psilocybin and mushrooms and took for granted for 2 years that everybody knows somebody. No, they don't.
Yeah.
And some people truly don't understand. And we would make fun of the psychedelic guides, the doctors. We even made fun of our friend Joe Cohen before I realized, no, he actually is performing a service to an entire demographic of our society that has no access.
Yep.
And we take that for granted. Sort of say, how lucky are we that you don't have to go to a dispensary? It is, but you know what the revenues are in this state. It's billions of dollars. So obviously someone is patronizing.
Yeah, but remember, they all got licenses, and they got so much debt. They're so underwater that even if they're cash flowing, it's not going into people's pockets necessarily, and that's been the big struggle. But I don't know. I don't know if Schedule 3 makes it worse or makes it better, except to say that it sounds like a big gift to a company like True Leaf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's for MSOs and for people who are pushing that agenda anyway. To them, it's a huge victory, and they think that they're onto something, right? And then, but for all the normal sort of shops and the people that are doing it for the right reasons and stuff, they're probably getting kicked in the nuts from it, and probably not getting the benefit that they think they are. But like I said before, I think the scary part is the fucking medical, getting like how Washington State just fucking threw it away like it was nothing, like it was just a whatever. Oh, by the way, we don't have that anymore. And you're like, what? Like, why? Like, why would you do that? Especially because it's so obvious that a legal system has so much extra. There's so much overflow, and if the patients are legit, and the problem is that they've created a market where it's like, well, you can get a medical, and you're going to save on taxes. That they hear that, they're fucking like, close that fucking thing. We don't want, why would you want to do that? But it also gives you better access to like 1,000 milligram bar instead of eating 1,000 milligram bars and getting diabetes before your whatever terminal illness that you had, terminal condition you had kills you.
Or a product like a suppository or something that might not be in a rec store.
Yeah, you're not gonna, exactly. So there was the medical thing is super important, and it needs like when I first came here, that was the whole thing about Colorado. It was like, it's written into our fucking constitution. This is it. Like it had such a good protection. Yeah. It felt like it did. So we're not in the greatest place because we have some, which is lucky because we had people like Jason coming on the show. We had guys out there sticking their neck out, and people made it work, and somehow didn't get bamboozled. But on the new states, they get fucking railroaded every time because it's always somebody figuring out much more. It's much more corporate and
from the get-go.
Yeah,
at least we kind of emerged from those ashes at one point.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, exactly. There was no choice in the beginning. You pretty much where everybody was starting, where they're starting, converted places that were not really. Now it's like purpose-built from the ground up, or it's been owned by 3 different groups already, or more, or 5, or 8. Who knows? Because so many people come and turn and burn spots, and so.
But let's not forget that system's still alive in other places. Go to Argentina. So I remember there was Capitol Hill Alternative Medicine right behind the Capitol, and there was a little doc shop right next door to it. Boom, boom, get your recommendation, walk in. All the products were unregulated. You didn't know if that carrot cake you bought was going to hit or not hit at all. And at least things are a little bit more stabilized now. But to the point with the regulations, you just can't really grow high-grade cannabis the way they require you do it. Yeah. So that's why you got to pair it with those home grow rights. Because if people want to continue legacy growing, you got to
it's the same with every industry, right? You go with the wine industry, you can go to I'm sure Ernest and Gallo's fucking warehouse ain't looking fucking very high. It's looking like not very elegant and crafty, right? It's like, fuck, look at this giant 20,000 liter tanks or whatever. And then you got like small craft people that are still producing small vineyards and making really fucking good wine.
Why do you say they can't produce high quality at scale.
Isn't the proof in the pudding? I mean, in terms of
I think
I'm not a grower, so I've grown.
There's
but
a lot of reasons. There's
I've
a lot
never
of
gone
reasons.
on
Well, I mean, a lot of it's to do with the fact, like, the simplest things as a grower that you would do, like, for instance, when you're harvesting, right? You would want to harvest needs to be harvested when it needs to be harvested, but you don't necessarily need to harvest the entire thing, because when you do the entire thing, there's going to be all these like parts that are immature and parts that are over mature and parts that so you have this whole mix going on. But it doesn't work that way because metric won't allow that, because they want you to group everything up at the same time. So you can't be like, I'm going to go back and take this part down and drop the lights or do this, or which is what we always did back in the day, because we're trying to maximize everything that we had.
Sure.
And we didn't know rules, so we'd be smoking a joint while we're trimming. So that's like, whoa, what are you doing?
But it's not a lack of good genetics, though. The genetics exist, right?
Yeah, well, it's partially. A lot of it's a lack of the right selection, because people are selecting for like washers. Now, washers are kind of killing the whole genetic gene pool, because there's a lot of greasy plants that produce really great smokable flower that you got you super high, and then you got other stuff that like has the right trichome that breaks off, and it has the right percentages, so you're getting over 3, 4, 5% return on fresh, whereas you might only get 1% or even less sometimes when you have these greasy things, because it all gets and it doesn't break off the same. So we're losing a lot of those things that would have stood out, especially when we were saying before how like things that are on the street get tested, because it's like effect is actually the most important part that'll keep it going. Like it can smell good and do whatever, but if there's no effect, it's going to hit a certain person. They're going to be like, it's going to be like that Cheech and Chong part where he's like, dude, I don't feel nothing, man.
This whole lid.
I smoked this whole lid. I don't feel nothing. And that's a lot of the weed out there, because it's been grown for looks, and there's certain strains that just notoriously don't produce tasty weed. And part of the thing, it could be like 30% THC, but if it doesn't taste like anything, your brain doesn't figure it out, and you're just like, whatever. Like you're saturated at a certain point with the THC, but you're not getting any kind of enjoyment out of it.
Sure.
You want to have flavors. And
I would argue that it's a simple lack of proper SOPs and understanding that it scales
it's like a
differently.
kitchen. It's like a kitchen, though.
Yeah.
If you have a small kitchen and a guy who's a really good chef, he's killing it. He's got a great little clientele. He says, "Oh, dude, I'm going to get the place next door. It's like 18 times the size, right?" How's he going to do it?
Does he replace himself?
Yeah, but he can't. That's the problem.
But
There's
he
know all about
He can.
even if he had the best SOPs in the world, I think it would still lose something, because there's like 18 different guys cooking now.
But this is a plant, and it's a female plant of all things, and that's an important component to this thing, right? And it's been said. So why?
Moody?
Whoa!
I don't know.
So no. What I mean is, it without love in the dream, it'll never come true. In other words, you can't just grow cannabis by SOPs. You got to have
was a
that
dead
love.
lyric
You
by
got to
the way.
have that.
Look at that.
So
The passion's got to be there.
it's got to be there, and I think that's what's lacking in the commercial side.
Well,
of
it's because they're
things.
paying people like
Nothing.
$22 an hour to be like the master grower.
That is a fault of your SOPs. Something is wrong in your procedure. You're paying people too little, and thus they don't do a good job.
I think the best places have always been where it's been like a combination of a grower and a business guy, and they start a place together. When it's two business guys and they hire growers, it never works. When it's two growers and they hire business guys, it never works. You know what I mean? Like there's
It was described to me once. There's plant people and there's people, and they don't always mix.
right. Oh, for sure.
That is such a
Shout
Well,
out
it's
to-
like what you were
shout out
saying.
to Uncle Andy. He's definitely not a people
He's
person.
not a people person.
I've heard that one.
He's a plant
Knowing
person.
yourself is
It's
important.
what you were saying about Amsterdam earlier. But if you really are a connoisseur, and pardon if I hurt someone's feelings, you only go to Amsterdam once for the flower. Every subsequent visit is for the hash.
For the hash.
That's just the way it is. Or you didn't have a good guide or get exposed to the right circles the first time you were there. Then it's just 2 times.
Well, it's also did you see the prices for weed there last time?
Listen, I
It's
was
like
I was just there a couple
20
of weeks ago.
20 euros a gram and shit
Yeah.
for like
Well,
Cali
but-
weed. You're like, what?
People will pay for that in the tourist center, but you can of course
20
go
euro.
outside of the
It's
tourist
$30
center.
a gram, though. That's outrageous.
But so here's the thing: the Netherlands is saying we have this experiment. They're trying to regulate certain coffee shops in certain cities, and they're saying you can't use this Moroccan hash. Historically, the Moroccan hash that comes in, and you got to make it yourself. But it's still coming in from these traditional channels.
So they're actually this is happening.
It is.
Yeah, and Zadam.
What, they're saying that they can't have Moroccan hash on the menu finally?
Well, so most
They finally figured out, like, looks kind of weird. Like, we go into a shop and everything's from another country, and you're like, how is this getting here? You're like, I don't know. And it's like always that.
Well, the worst thing is the Canadians are making Moroccan hash and sending it over to the Netherlands.
Oh, so there you go. That's classic.
And it's,
classic Canadian.
It's a meatier, softer hash because it's made with in more humid conditions, and it's got a lot more plant material in there.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one.
But I was just out in the Riff just 2 weeks ago and really had a great experience out there. I've worked with the Moroccan government for 4 years now, trying to help take 1 kilo at a time from under the table and put it on top of the table. And that's sort of been the block on the international sale of Moroccan hashish is it doesn't get produced under these GACP or these standards, you know. Yeah. But
what?
There's ways to clean
banging on a fucking thing in the dusty room.
It's so freaking fantastic. Though, isn't
you
it?
don't think that's
it's so fantastic.
GMP certified fucking, no, it's crazy because and the king is still involved, I'm sure, like he always was.
King is always involved.
It's always like the weirdest thing because it's like everyone knows the king.
He's
like,
a benevolent king.
Yeah, everybody knows him too. So it's like anybody you're dealing with is like, oh, I know the king. And like, dude, everybody knows. It's like he's getting his piece of everything in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I had a friend who used to go there. His name Lebanese Steve. He was like an Amsterdam sort of legend guy that was down there building in the squares of the villages. He would do all the tile work stuff, and he'd like redo the whole thing and make it super dope. And like they'd be like, holy, like, 'cause, they just let it go to fucking whatever. And he'd come in and redo the whole thing. Yeah. And he became sort of like super well known guy. But and it was just fun to watch because it was like for every 10,000 pounds or kilos of Moroccan that came out of Morocco, there'd be like 10 that was like the fucking shit. You know what I mean? And it would always be like the shoes and all the stuff that people know now. But back in the day, nobody really, that was like super, it was like if you go to the offices in Amsterdam and you see all the different kinds of hash, it would be like, dude, whatever. And then you get to the knee, you pull that little fucking one thing out. It wasn't even that strong. It was like just a different flower. It was like the taste was awesome, but it was also like the high was really like,
it's a mellow high.
It's like a floaty high that's really like hard to get in modern weed because most modern weed just like slams you a little bit more. That was like, if you're like, Amsterdam, a gray fucking cold gray day, and you'd be really stoned on Moroccan, and you'd be like riding your bike, and you'd be like, it's fucking pretty comfy. Like somehow you were comfortable in your own little weird thing. If it was anything else, it would annoy you. You know what I mean?
It does do that. That's for sure.
You'd be like super annoyed otherwise.
Did you get to smoke some of this hash yet?
No, I'd love some. I'd love to try some.
Sure
my affliction is the hash with the tobacco, and
so that's why Vinny was smoking a spliff.
No, that's what he asked when he came in, if it was okay to do it. And I said, got to check with Vinny.
No, that's fine. Vinny's smoking cigarettes all day.
But he smokes outside his house.
I know, but spliffs get a big excuse, man. That's like the excuse of the
I'll
century.
let him do it on air right now. He's got to do it
No,
on
but
air.
so I spent some time in Rome when I was in law school. My buddy lived there, and I was looking for weed, and you just couldn't find any green. And there was this little bridge between this place called the Trastevere and the colonial old town, and called the Ponte Sisto, and you could buy hash on the bridge. So, all right, how do I buy this? So I would,
you can have that one
thank you. Put hash on a pin, burn it under a cup, the old hash cup style.
Make a big stain on your fucking counter. It's like, it's perfect. Yeah.
And it's a cup.
Resin stains on your counter. You have to do enough of them.
But then I ultimately just, I found some good tobacco. I said, this is the way I like it. I like that blend of that flavor together. And, again, my
whole thing was with tobacco was like with hash, that was acceptable in my brain as far as people doing. I didn't smoke tobacco myself. But once it went with weed, I was like, dude, what do you do? It's actually the same. Like it burns. It totally burns on its own. Like they're like, no, it never burns. Especially in Holland, it's wet. They'd be like telling me like it couldn't burn without tobacco. I'm like, are you fucking out of your mind, dude? Like, let me show you. I'll put hash in there and weed. No fucking nothing. Burns great. You know what I mean? It's just like how you dry the weed, obviously. But
that's cultural too. I mean, that younger generation, they love their green with tobacco.
Well, I had, and it's funny because I worked for Ben, right? So I was working for Ben Drunkers and Alan and those guys, and they're very adamant about tobacco. Like we would argue all the time about it. And Ben's whole thing was, he'd try to get all spiritual and be like, it's the male and the female bonding of the plants together. And I'd be like, dude, it ruins the weed. Like, if you're smoking weed and you want to taste good weed and you put tobacco in it, you've destroyed it. Like, there's no, that was.
I don't disagree with you, but I still love it.
Well, and the head rush that you get, I get it.
Yeah, the head rush is intense.
But it was always like annoying to me. For me, it was awesome though, because as a grower, I realized quickly, like, I was like, dude, nobody around here knows what good weed tastes like. They have no idea because they just keep mixing tobacco into their weed. It was like,
I appreciate that everybody has their thing. I have a couple friends that they only smoke spliffs. They like a teeny tiny bit of cannabis in there.
Well, that's the funny part is like I watch people's brains in real time try to justify the amount of tobacco they're smoking because it's with weed. They're like, no, it's with it, dude. And I watch like less and less weed going in and more tobacco. And then at a certain point, they're just like, I need to smoke right now.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, you're not even really smoking cannabis. You've got like a teeny tiny bit in there.
I was like, you don't need to smoke weed. You need to smoke tobacco, dude. That's the obvious thing.
No, it's true.
It takes you pretty quickly.
But no, so this, you got this Beldia variety, right? And the seeds are basically free. So everyone out in the Riff area in the Atlas Mountains, they're growing the same dry land. Once you pop that seed, it's going to grow, 6 to 8 feet tall, but the flowers are all shitty. And by the way, take a guess how many hectares, how many acres, if you want, of annual cannabis production Morocco has.
It's got to be
100,000
million.
So 56,000 hectares.
Okay,
so
I was going big.
But it's all dry land crops.
So it's 200,000.
So the United Nations goes into the Riff and says we're going to put retention ponds up high. We want to give these people some water so that they can grow other than cannabis. So what do the Moroccans do? They start getting some Cali genetics and growing big fat flowers because they've got water now. So, that's the beauty of the cannabis industry. As much as we don't like the results of what we're seeing on the commercial side and the pharmaceutical side, it always finds a way.
I believe that too. I believe these plants are always going to find a way. These plants have been our allies as human beings for a very long time. So like Adam just said, the woo-woo, this is a divine union. This plant is really magical in a lot of ways. All the way down to it can sex itself.
Everybody must have seen that fossil, right?
What's that?
The oldest cannabis fossil was found,
Where?
50,000 years old or something.
That's
but
incredible.
I would argue that Cali weed ceased being Cali weed the moment it went indoors and became climate controlled. That I think it, and it's the same for any indoor crop, which is what my argument is, that if you keep it small and scale it small, you don't have to scale up. Take what you can do. Is it 3,000 square feet? Is it 5,000? Whatever that is, however many rooms you rotate to get your perpetual harvest, you just make more of those until the next phase comes in. But everybody thinks scaling is, well, I'm going from 10,000 feet to 100,000 foot open room. And you go, no. You're not, that's not scaling. You're trying something new, And so I think Cali weed is outdoor Northern California weed from the 80s.
What is the desire to always just continue to go bigger and bigger and bigger? What is that?
The American way, Katie.
I just don't understand. I mean, is it? Is that it?
That's all they want.
Because I feel like maybe I am just in I am
he just said
around
earlier,
a lot of community-based people.
It's one of those things where it's tough when you're in it and you're doing things. You're obviously always thinking about going bigger and expanding and trying to get more efficient. So that never knocks somebody for doing that. The problem is that people go in way too big, too fast. Like Native Roots here with their fucking, what do they have, like 10,000 lights or something stupid, you know what I mean? And it was just like, they had 300 growers. They had 300 growers in one garden.
Like
300. I was like, dude, that's impossible to everyone's blaming each other for the rest of that guy. Oh, I did totally
that
did
wasn't
it.
me.
And there's no way you're following that many people. Maybe nowadays with AI and stuff, but before that, it was like, this is not happening. So Peter Noble took a fucking beating on that one. Of course, that's all right. I don't mind that. Certain people, you're like, good job, Peter.
You said earlier, if it doesn't work, both scenarios where it's like two growers hire a business guy or two business guys hire a grower, I would say that in the hierarchy of one choosing genetics, like who can make that decision, it's the fucking chief financial officer. Everybody defers to him. He goes, this strain says it makes more.
And
that's
sometimes
when
that
you're
person's
growing.
not ever even consumed cannabis.
Of course, they don't know shit.
I've watched so many gardens get sabotaged because there's a disconnect between whoever's buying all the products for the grow and the people that are in the grow that are like,
I found this stuff cheaper. What's the difference?
No, not even
nutrients
that.
are nutrients.
Not even that. Just like not even understanding like the most important ingredients of your garden. Like you need pH down at all times. You cannot not have pH down. And I've gone to places they're like, we've been waiting for 2 weeks for pH. I'm like, dude, you have to just go get it then yourself. You can't wait on these guys if they're gonna fuck you over. Because that's the thing, they just don't see it. They don't know what's the most important moving parts that you got to have that are constant. And so it's like. And I've watched guys like, bean count fucking rooms, and they're kind of like, well, if you took one table and turned it sideways, you get an extra. And it's like, yeah, and then you ruin all the airflow, and you don't, there's no flow there, and you've got to you walk around it every time. But they just see the money, but there's dead. Their brains don't comprehend that shit. So
they're fans. They're not pros. They're like the people who think that guy could be a better ball player if he only listened to the guy in the stands.
Well, I think the best situations are always when you have like the right. You need a team because the whole thing is like you can't do everything, and you can, and you have to, and what many of us do because of just the reality. It used to be because of security, and now it's because the reality. It's not worth it. Nobody will come do the work, right? Like he won't. Nobody. You want to trim? You want to trim some weed? Hell no. Like, nobody does it.
I do. I'm like, he's planting seeds, Dave. We got to go help Adam.
Nobody.
Because you fool us with the first time.
It doesn't even matter.
You call it a party.
It doesn't. It is.
That is a party.
That's all it's worth it. These days, it's like we used to pay people as much as weed is worth to trim the weed.
Well, but did you see this coming? The price, they call it price compression, a fancy word for saying it's just cheap now. Did you see prices going down as much as they've gone down, and how has that affected?
We documented it many times.
I mean,
100%.
Yeah,
but did you see it coming?
Yeah. And in 2014, we said Mitch said $500 on the show. Within 10 years, within the next 10 years.
2 years prior to that, I said $700. Because everybody would go, we're going to raise $2 million, we're going to exit for $200 million in 18 months, and we're going to sell weed for $5,000 a pound. I said no, and no.
So in the best case scenario, how much does it cost to grow a pound?
$300.
$300, best case.
Yeah, I mean,
commercially.
If you're on a regenerative farm in NorCal, and you've got your place for 30 years, $5, literally $5 a fucking pound. It's just the difference between like all the expenses are the rent and the person and the thing and the food and the
electricity.
You start to add it up. It's almost even more than that. It's just that people don't want to believe it, so they're kind of like, oh, we'll just block that part out. The other 100,000 that we're not looking at right now, because I even said this with rosin, especially that if you calculated the exact costs as you hit that rosin dab and you went backwards and you calculate everything and you started doing growing the weed, making the process, it would be crazy. Like you'd be like, holy fuck, dude, it's got to be like $200 a gram now. It's like the prices just went up so high because nowadays it does not reflect the amount of work that goes into it. And then you got, and then I think that is the separation between what should be considered the legal market and the new descheduled world of cannabis. Hopefully it ever exists, but that would be the best separation because that's where the scariest things happen in the weed industry. Like when I first came here, it was like botards everywhere, right? People were blowing up left and right. It was like, holy shit, they blew up another. If you heard there was an explosion, it was a hash lab.
Dr. Brooks.
Always, and so those open blasting days were a little bit ridiculous and not a good look, but that's where the investment of all the equipment and then all the fucking hiring the right people and keeping your shit clean and buying all this bullshit expendable stuff and gloves and just the amount of gloves, parchment paper towels, alcohol, the stuff that you start to you're like going through like cases of that shit daily, right? And you're like, those companies are loving us. They're like, dude, we've sold so many fucking Q-tips in the last 5 years. It's crazy. The Q-tip guys are
talking about picks and shovels and axes. That's
imagine?
the people who made
Like,
money
yeah.
off the gold rush
Like
were the
Colorado.
people who sold ancillary products to them. But I would take a step back and say, you talk about price compression.
Yeah.
It's only price compression based on the comparison that it's a grown vegetable crop, right? And everyone's quick to go, the farmers get fucked over. Growing onions or apples, it doesn't matter. Farmer always gets fucked over. Why shouldn't the farmer for cannabis get fucked over? I'll tell you why. Because it's not that. It's more like high-end vintage grapes.
It's
that
cultivation versus agriculture.
That will produce the finest wine that you could buy a box of wine somewhere for $6, or you could buy a beautiful bottle. I mean, loved and cared for, that someone gets $500-800 a bottle. I mean, you know, that's not uncommon, right? Veuve goes for $80 a bottle now. So there is room for cannabis to still not get, you know, how much does it cost? $300. Okay, sell for $400.
I mean, the
because we
market,
have to compare it to grapes.
It depends on the markets too. Like some places you can get away with, like in Colorado, it's tough because it's never been a baller place anyway to begin with. You know what I mean? When you go to New York, you go to LA, there's always there's levels to everything. Like you get $1,200 pound or $1,200 ounces available in California. You know, people, you can go find those because people will spend that much money. Here,
James Bean, $1,200 ounce. Cali, go.
Nobody's doing it here.
Go.
You know what I mean? Like here, it's almost impossible because just even, you know, unless you catch them up in Aspen at the right time and you're like, hey, by the way, it's $1,200.
So has the illicit market shrunk dramatically?
Don't know nothing about it.
Well, I'm just as a general,
Just kidding.
as a general rule, right?
On advice of counsel, we can't answer that question.
Well, hypothetically speaking, if you were
Objection,
studying
Your
the
Honor.
issue.
Vinny, can you play the? Are you a cop? Come on, he's not at the desk.
No.
But has
Missed out.
it shrunk dramatically since the advent of commercial cannabis?
It has to. It has to.
I would say no.
And by the way,
How is it possible? They've
Because
sold billions
there's a
of dollars.
large demographic of people that are actually ill and use this plant. Like I really,
Yeah, but as far as the illicit, as far as like guys running like rooms and stuff, Colorado's like never been as good of a spot for that sort of situation anyway, just because, I mean, there was people trying to like shadow the market that was there, but it's also like, you know, you're a sitting duck, right? With a grow room sitting there with fucking paying power every month, either paying or stealing. If you're stealing, it's even worse. You know what I mean? But then there's like just that market is like much more moving around. And the problem is that whole thing got crushed by the Chinese. Chinese destroyed that market. Like there is no competition anymore. You know, all the small growers or the guys who were doing it like that and feeding that system, they all got bought out by the Chinese. Like Chinese came in and just said, "Oh yeah, we'll take it all, but we want it cheaper." And you're like, "Okay." And then it's cheaper. We'll take your whole place. How's that?
Sure.
And you're like, "Oh, good. There you go." And so most places, like Oklahoma, was a great example of that. That was like there's our friend.
Oh,
Brandon.
how you doing?
Hey.
Hey now.
Hey, I got my own setting.
We got Rosin Dogs
Was
is
that
over
the
here.
driver?
He's very busy right now. That's why he was like handling sweatshirt, selling sweatshirts because it's cold as
So we're at the
fuck
New
here.
Jersey Cup.
Listen, it's cold down here.
good to see you guys.
You know.
We got the Jersey
Yeah, listen, I'm
Cup.
gonna sell my jacket for like $300 to the highest bidder. What the fuck? Why not? You know what I'm saying? No.
Well, what? Rosin
Why?
Dogs not paying you or what? What's
I
going
got
on?
the free sweatshirts on. I'm ready to. People are ready to buy sweatshirts here. You know what I'm saying?
It's
How
cold.
Great. Hold on, let me
It's
turn it
cold.
around for you.
So you're saying cold and miserable, basically.
No, it's not cool. It was beautiful. It's beautiful there.
All right.
It's the beach. Had a hot dog. The hot dog, fucking phenomenal.
Bob's loving
great.
listening to you right now.
love it, man. Listen,
Yeah, look at this guy. He's dressed. Yo, look how he's dressed. He's dressing like my dad. Like, this is like, honestly, he gave me some spending cash. He's like, go ahead. I was like, oh, this is great. I had a great time.
This is,
You know what I'm saying?
for anybody who doesn't realize, we're talking to the driver now. We're talking straight to the driver.
Oh, yeah, I did drive. I drove. He fell asleep. It was fine. You got a little sleep apnea. You just got to prop him up.
He attended the first
It's good to see you guys.
ADSI.
Hey, Rob.
I can barely hear you because he's got his $1 million phone and you can't hear anything. But
Terrible. We'll go up there and let's see what this Rosin dog's looking like. Go up to the front. Let's check him out. Oh, where is he? There he is, the star.
see you.
What's up, Skinny?
what's up?
Hi.
So how's that Joyzy Cup doing over there?
He can't hear us.
Joyzy Cup.
He can't
can hear us.
Jersey, we're in Jersey.
Yeah,
There
see,
you
right,
go.
yeah.
See, he heard the words. He heard
What
words.
exit?
What exit?
Exit Atlantic City. No idea.
39B. That's a 39B.
Driver.
39B. That's about. We were about. This was about 200-mile trip. 3 and 19.
Okay.
Smooth sailing.
19 hours for a
65,
2-hour trip? Good job.
Wow.
Yeah, no speeding, no speeding. This is New Jersey, okay? We don't want any problems right here. So.
They got troopers, man. They got troopers in New Jersey.
I know. With the
Dude,
hats
hello?
they got the hats tilted
All over the
forward and
place.
shit. I hate that.
Wow.
Once you see the
Yeah,
hat,
yeah.
you're fucked.
Boots.
Oh, you're fucking
Boots and
bad.
hats.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
Boots and hats and boots and hats and boots and hats.
Did you get to try this?
Oh, you want to walk through? All right, I'm going to do a walkthrough. Let's do a walkthrough.
Okay, walk true. Walk true.
Here we go. Here we go. We got it.
Look
I
at
would
Jersey
say
vibes right here. Jersey vibes.
Colorado took advantage of the gray market more than any other state. When we became legal, our gray market kept the legal market in business because people flew here. They loaded up their suitcases with a gajillion edibles and whatever
Oh,
they
you got
could
a
buy,
circus
and they flew
going
back
on
home.
over here.
Go over here. Let's
very-
see.
it's
Oh,
very
wait, you want
Atlantic
to go?
City.
Let's go around. I'll go around. I don't want to cheat you guys
This
out.
guy just like blocked off part of the boardwalk and said, "Now we are a weed
I
event."
think
That's what it looks like.
No, that's what they've done. They
all look the
literally,
same.
that's what I heard the guy was putting this on. I heard George Jage the other day was talking about how they're just letting people go, and they're roping off and just.
George did this.
Yeah. He's part of the MJ
Unpacked?
Pact, all this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Really?
That's what it looks like, right? So they didn't do nothing. They
Wait,
just said,
so
you know
this
what?
is an unpacked event right here,
So
Rosin
they
Dogs?
basically took a pier and said,
Wait,
just
what'd you
make it
say?
a
What'd you say?
consumption area.
Really? Okay.
I mean, but not. You know.
No, this is just like vendors. Here's Dougie Hitman over here. With the
Uh-oh, there Rosin boys.
You want to say? Should we say what's up to him?
Yeah. What up,
You're on with the Adam Dunn show right now.
Dougie?
Hold on. Let me flip it around on his phone. I gotta figure it out.
Flip it around.
Hold on. Wait. Oh, I lost the
that
video.
worked.
This fucking. I'm an Apple guy, guys. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I
Like,
meant.
he's gotta have all this complicated gear. You talk here.
Here we go.
Talk to him, but just go ahead, because I don't know how to switch
You
the
don't know how
camera.
to
Listen,
switch. What's happening, bro?
Fuck Rosin.
Wait. Fix that.
Smoking dry
Fuck
stuff, Dougie.
Rosin, man.
Got some dry.
DHO for the win all day. What up, Adam? I love you, dog.
What's going down, Dougie? We got you.
Oh, all right. They say what's
Causing
up.
waves.
All right,
He's
let's
causing
see right here.
waves. Dougie's
We don't
causing
want to
waves.
listen. We don't want to be hanging out with him too much. I'll get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You hear that?
I do. You should go hang out. Now go to those Rosin boys over there somewhere. Next crew.
They get me jammed up. He already got me jammed up. You want to hear? I was in the VIP. I stole a tomato mozzarella
I
caprese
think you
thing.
just jammed
The woman-
yourself up.
You stole.
No. The woman's like, you can't take it. I was like, listen, nobody will know, right? So I'm walking out, secret. Dougie's there. He goes, oh, where'd you get that? I said, no. Don't talk. Quick, wait. And then of course he made a big deal. The
Triple
woman's looking at me. I got in trouble. It was all.
Can't you just pay for it with all that money that Rosin Dogs gave you?
It wasn't. It was like a free thing, but like I didn't know if I had the right bracelet, and it was kind of like a theft, but it wasn't. But she blew up the whole spot. Hold on, let me turn the thing around
Yeah, that sounds heavy.
so we can walk. You don't want to hear me talk
Didn't
like
have
here.
I think
Right
on the advice of
bracelet.
counsel, he should not.
Yeah.
Look at that. Top dog. We got JJ in the house. Look at that. Yeah.
Go back to JJ.
Tell JJ.
You want to say, all right, let's
Yes.
go home. Let me get you, JJ.
See, this is perfect. Get to see all our homies. Get to see our homies. Just can't flip it around. Has no idea how to show us.
You're with Adam Dunn show.
Hey,
Hi,
top
JJ.
doggy over
Yo.
Good to see
here.
you.
What is happening?
How you guys doing?
Hey, so you were on the last show. We basically
Yeah.
it was announced that you saved 420. You saved it.
Yeah, you say 420 by
right.
letting people
Yeah, I
know
can't
about the
I know. Here, hold on. I'm going to stick it to his ear. Hold on.
Hey, you there? Are you up to the ear? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so we heard that you You on your own single-handedly saved 420 in New York. You are the man.
For everyone in New York.
The whole fucking town should be respecting you now. It should be your holiday. Take over.
Yeah, that's just a rumor, but yeah, there's some truth to that. But listen, I'm going to have to come in on the show and I'll tell you the story.
Yes, anytime, dude.
We look forward to it.
When are you back? When are you back here so you can come in the studio, hang out with us?
Maybe next Friday next Friday maybe we'll try to work something out.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
we'll
trim
see
your
you
nose
soon.
hairs first.
Oh yeah, we got your
Safe
nose
travels.
on full blast right
Trim
now.
those things up.
JJ's oh no, that's actually his nose.
That's the driver.
That's driver's
I
nose.
was like,
Dude, you've
JJ
been doing
doesn't have that yet.
ketamine or something?
You
What's going
can't
on?
get this anywhere else, people.
This is quality programming.
The best, only the best.
We
From
just got
Joyce.
age restricted. Thank you, driver.
Oh, we always do.
What do you got? That's
I appreciate it, but sometimes you just got to take matters into your own hands. So
Or nose.
yeah. All right. Well, listen, I got to get back to
Safe
the show,
travels.
but
Thank you, sir.
I'll talk to you guys soon. We got to definitely catch up.
All right, next
Thank
one.
you.
We'll have a
Bye.
cartoon
All
ready
All
for
right,
you.
thank you, man.
We're gonna
See you
do
later.
We're gonna do the man who saved 420.
Yeah,
Enjoy
JJ,
Dirty
I'm
Jersey.
done.
Dirty Jersey over here.
Dirty Jersey.
Can't hear.
Let me take you home.
You need headphones. You need headphones, my friend. You
And a
need you need a
I still
microphone.
We're gonna get him a microphone. We're gonna get some kind of mic because he's always doing this to me. He's handing it to me, and I can't hear.
Watch out. Don't get too
Yeah.
close.
Don't get close to Dougie. They're gonna get you.
Meanwhile, he can barely hear. He could barely hear. You'd think that the man would be prepared for this one.
Hey, I think that guy you just passed in the plaid is following you. That's the second time he's been on camera.
He is.
He's definitely a cop.
That guy's definitely narking you out.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
You should watch out.
Oh, shit.
He's got to go in.
They're gone.
Oh yeah. No, he's back.
He's
Doesn't have an apple.
Look at that.
I'm back.
You're back.
Nice.
Well, we might have to get ready anyway in a second because we got new guests. We got other guests coming in.
I'd be so afraid to be at this event.
This looks really like, this looks definitely Jersey style.
I'd be like,
Jersey
they're going to
over
be
here.
troopers at every fucking exit entrance.
They're like, bunch of stoners over here.
Oh, but that comes alive in the summer. I tell you what.
That looks cool.
What do you mean? Isn't it the summer now?
Not quite.
Due to global warming, yes.
What's it?
We skipped winter this year in
We did.
Colorado.
Look at this. Look at the
Oh, this place is that's the hot dog spot.
hot dogs. Dude, look at
sounds
it.
delicious,
Bob's fucking
actually.
salivating. For it. He's like, this is it. This is his whole life right
He
here.
just got back from
Oh,
Europe.
yeah,
guys.
it's hot
Have
dog.
you been there, Bob? Have
Yeah,
you
but-
been where he's at?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right down near the
Right.
boardwalk in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh,
knows
that's
what's up.
really cool.
Where's Rosin Dog's first spot? First stop right there.
There you go.
It's
Winner
been,
every
it's
time.
been years since I've been in Atlantic City and in Jersey, but I tell you what, it's a cool place to be. There's
Well,
a,
it's
That's
also
awesome.
it's cool to see places that you grew up and then see weed being openly consumed there, and you're just
Yeah,
like, dude, this is pretty crazy. Because I
Yeah.
would have like when we went to New York and we're both from
Oh, so you're getting me
Queen-
triggered just thinking about it now.
we're both Queens, and we were just cruising around, and everywhere we went, like he was still like just fucking nervous in the service, couldn't help it. Hand him a joint, copy right there.
It's not fucking fair, man.
Watch him just completely lose it.
But I said this the last time he told this fucking story to make me all triggered. That it's kind of like if they just announced that all lions became vegetarians on Tuesday, you're gonna have dinner with them on Wednesday. You know, I mean,
I imagine that feels interesting. I always grew up here, and then I always grew up in like the illicit
But this is
market,
and this is the
so
High Times Cup. This is the High Times
no.
Jersey. Yes.
High Times Cup, yes.
This
That's
is,
cool.
So this is officially the High Times. What?
There's actually open consumption there.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
No,
but they rented the whole pier.
This is cool.
They rented the entire pier. Look at this guy's giant.
Is that why? So
Serious
there's
giant.
no cop. I haven't seen you walk past a cop.
no cops allowed. They're just outside in a circle.
No cops.
They're just in a big.
no,
Not one cop.
Atlantic City needs
Wait,
this.
go back.
Atlantic
What is
City
that for
needs,
$35? What was
The whole
that?
country needs this.
$35?
Oh,
world
that, yes.
needs this.
Yes.
Oh, the slingshot. You want me to get on this bad
want-
boy right
no,
now? You guys ready?
I want rosin.
No,
Get
bro,
the
I have a
dog
heart
on there.
attack. What do you know? You want to see this thing? This is what this is. Like, let me ask. Like, can I smoke a joint on this thing? Should I ask
Yes.
him?
Could you?
No, don't
and-
ask. Never ask.
No, you asked
Hey,
forgiveness.
let me ask the question. If I were to get on this thing, I could smoke a joint. Oh it'll fly off into the thing, right? Coke, you're right. If this thing really blasts you off,
Can you hold your
no
phone?
joke.
Do a ketamine, give it a little ketamine bump as you go up.
Hey,
it's giving me I'm getting anxiety just looking at that thing. Jesus.
Rosin Dog
Oh,
just
sure.
texted me. He said it's okay for you to do it.
He said, "Go for it."
Yeah.
He said, "Jump on it." Oh
said,
no.
He said yes.
How much is he paying? Ask him how much he's paying for me to get on there right now.
$50.
Because it's more than the 25 that it's for the show.
All those
$50.
games.
Nah,
are rigged,
I
by the
get
way.
a little extra to check for that one, dude. I might have a heart attack.
It's a good chance, actually.
Oh, we got the VIPs. And we got
This is what you got a VIP ticket?
Oh, they stop you? Oh, my
here it is. This is
I'm doing
Tell
it.
me with
I'm
Adam
doing
Dunn
it.
show. Adam Dunn show.
Adam Dunn show.
Yeah, Adam Dunn show.
I want the Dunn
Adam
deal.
Dunn show.
I'm the Adam Dunn boy.
Adam Dunn show. Video. You're live. We're live on the air.
Wait, what was
he
it? The man
stopped.
show? I'm the Adam Dunn
Yeah.
boy. All right, fellas, what do we got here? Let's see what this.
You just show them the studio. They'd be like, "Look, there we are."
Well, we got a line here. Oh, just shorter.
What's going on here?
No, you cut the line with the phone, man. You just
Oh,
go
we're
right
rolling.
front.
He's rolling, baby.
Rolling big.
Got it rolling.
Damn. Like on.
Holy
That's
shit.
a high pressure job if you're standing there having to roll.
Yeah, should we talk?
Come on,
No,
man.
it's not.
Should pre-roll.
What do you mean? I do that all the time.
With the Adam Dunn show. You know the Adam Dunn?
What's going
What's up,
on?
yeah? What's going on?
What's happening,
What do we
sir?
got?
How's the?
We got some fire ass. Garden greens. We got garden
Well,
greens.
what else would we have? Of course.
Right?
We're in the garden.
We got some
stage.
Jersey runs. It's the frog poison. We got garden greens with indoor
frog
trees. Check this out. Indoor trees.
All right, tell him to roll me a joint of that. Now tell him how it is. Yeah, I'll be
Give-
back for that.
The driver said
Yeah,
he needs
the
frog
frog poison.
poison.
Give me a fat joint of that.
Frog poison.
I'll be back for that.
Frog poison.
I might as well, right? What the fuck?
Here we go.
Speaking of frog
He's gonna roll it.
poison,
He's
Well,
gonna
wait a
roll it.
minute. We said frog poison, and then magically Jason Love showed up. So I think we have.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see here.
all right, driver,
All right, this
call
is
us
where I
back in a
stole-
little bit.
Hold on. I
Yeah,
gotta have
this
a
is the
screen
spot
ready.
where
We
I
got
stole it
special guests.
crazy.
Okay,
Right there.
we have another guest on our Zoom though, so we got to jump
Oh,
off.
you guys are going? All right.
Yep.
Listen, boys, I'll talk to you later. It was a pleasure.
Yep.
Here's
As
the
always.
view of the end.
Wait, you can
Mayday.
zoom back in if Rosin Dogs is getting on that slingshot.
Put him on the
doohickey thing.
slingshot. Put him on the slingshot and call us back.
If I put him on the
look at
slingshot,
that.
I go for it. I am
Now Bob's
portraying
feeling it.
DMT,
Beautiful.
so
Now
I
Bob's
will.
feeling
It'll be
it
fine.
now.
Oh,
Look at
wow. You're
All right, wait, hold on.
emasculated with the beard?
Oh, look at you all romantic.
it's-
Our little romantic ending for us. Nice.
That's it. This is what I was trying to get you guys.
The Jersey Shore.
You made it to
Thank
the
you.
shoreline over here.
Okay.
Nice. Thanks.
Bye.
See you
Good to
later.
see you.
All right.
That was
All
awesome.
right. All right, guys. Bye.
Nice. Forgot I sent the link.
I sent it to him,
Hi,
too.
Jason.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Oh, meeting. You guys haven't met and haven't seen each other in years.
It's been years, brother. You look good, man. Good to see you.
Several inches on the mustache.
You hearing us?
No. Blink
Hold on.
twice if you can hear us.
He's good.
I don't know.
All right. I think I got that going. I had
There
to
you
push a
go.
little button here. Can you guys hear me?
Now we
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bob, it's so cool to see you. Man,
Like-
this brings back a lot of amazing memories.
Likewise, brother. I was just thinking about you today.
That's so cool. That's like, for me, it's like I remember, you advertising in the Cannabis Health News magazine early on. This was, I think, right around when I think you found out about your mom with cancer, right? 2009-ish? 2010?
Eight, yeah. 2008, for sure. But listen, do you remember when we were at the the vice president of Costa Rica's house in Escazú, and we were at that party, and everyone wanted to leave the party, but there was 100 cars parked one way in this long ass driveway up in the mountains, and
somebody
nobody
got
could get
jammed
out.
Oh,
They didn't think about
dang.
that
Drove off
before the
side of
party.
road.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, you're like.
And then I think someone drove off the side of the road and some guys picked it up out of the ditch.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That was an incredible place. I think I remember I was sitting in my wheelchair looking over the city, and I smoked a bowl, not knowing that like all the politicians were right behind me. And I looked back, and they were all like, "Oh, right on!" And all of a sudden, people start smoking. Yeah. Oh gosh, those days in Costa Rica were quite impressive. Yeah.
Those were fun days. That was 2014, Canacosta. It
15,
was 15. It was a gathering of like some of the coolest people from around the world. Some people that you still see, some people that you haven't seen too much. Danny Herrer was there. We had, hemp building people. We had cultivators. We had doctors.
Documentary filmmakers. Yeah.
It was amazing, man. It was an amazing.
Yeah, and a lot has happened since then. And you've been around the world. I actually just moved from Chiapas, Mexico to Hawaii after being down there for almost 8 years.
Are you in Hawaii right now?
Yes, I'm in Hilo.
Oh,
I'm
are you?
actually at an Airbnb right now. I am. It's funny because you were here a couple of years ago, if I remember right.
Well, listen, I'm going there on Tuesday. My daughter lives in Manoa, outside of Honolulu, and I'm going to visit her.
How funny!
So
I think there's a lot of movement happening. This is really cool to hear. Maybe we can run into each other. It'd be good to see you. I think this weekend, I'm going spearfishing, but we'll see what happens next week.
Well, it's really
or
good.
what happens this weekend.
Right.
While spearfishing, and we never saw him again.
Right. Well, so that's another thing I'm learning here. After being out here for, I guess it's been 6 months now, I have gone around the island. I've visited many of these farms and locations. I've run into a lot of OGs. Like you guys just had Aaron Zeman on the show a couple weeks ago, Professor Pot Grower.
He's going to love that you called him an OG, by the way.
And a professor.
I love it.
I just, being here, it's a different story and meeting these people face to face. It's people, we hear about over all the years. And then finally there's like this, I don't know, it's like a gravitational pull putting us together again.
I love it.
Well, maybe there's a disturbance in the force. We all have to come together.
Hawaii has that kind of vibe to it anyway, where it's just
it's funny because people are telling me they're
everyone
like,
tries to
you either get spit out here or it keeps you. And the Aina keeps wanting to hold on to me here. I feel very, very thankful.
And so many people I know go there. Like I've told people, hey, you should go check out this thing. Here's a friend of mine, and then they end up living there. Another one. It's like another one. Like 6 years later, they're like, fuck, dude, all right, I had to get out.
We're moving the show.
Then they get into exactly. Then they get into a little. The bubbles there, there's lots of them, So if you're in the Maui bubble, it's one thing, and you go to another island, it's in a whole new bubble. You're like, oh, dude, it's like you can keep moving around.
Now, there's a guy I want to go visit on Oahu when I go out there. His IG tag is Mahalo Grows, and I'm going to go hook up with him, and he's got some really, really great stuff online, and excited about that. But Jason, I went to the Big Island last May after my daughter graduated college with my son, and we spent about a week there. And drove around the island and went to all the different places and spent, I think, a night or two in Hilo. Some of those little waterfalls right outside of town are really, really super cool, But I'm happy for you. You look good, man. And when you talk about what you're doing, you've got good energy, man. I'm happy for you.
Well, some of my story. I'm walking these days, yeah? I'm out of the wheelchair. I have very little pain left. This whole process is something that has led me here, essentially. After living in Chiapas, and I still have a little store down there. I have a little hemp store down in San Cristobal de las Casas. And I've spent basically the last 7 years immersed in Mayan culture. And so part of that has been learning from the plant medicine school, Mayan plant medicine school, which is 15 minutes from where I was living. And so I got exposed to a whole different way of looking at healing and health. And so during my healing process, what I really recognized is that Western medicine was taking me the wrong direction. I can get into the details, but as you know, or a lot of people know, I was taking opiates and found that cannabis was alleviating the issues way better than opiates were. In fact, it helped me get off of the opiates as well. And then all of this led to, of course, talking with Dr. Robert Melamid and Dr. Meshulam and all these wonderful people, just like we were saying, for example, down in Costa Rica, we got the chance to see a lot of these people face to face. A lot of them helped guide me towards where I'm at today. And so that tear in my spinal cord, which is odd because, my neurologist testified during my court case, but basically that has been, I'm not going to say repaired, but it basically the body has rerouted the communication, I'll say, and so now I have mobility back in my lower left leg. And so all of this comes back to me, the exciting part is really the raw plant. And so down there in Chiapas, I had the opportunity to formulate a raw plant distillation using traditional Mayan techniques. And basically we're keeping the entire plant intact. And what I found is that I get the best relief when I'm using the raw plant. But I also do a formula where I make CBN, so I decarboxylate the THC down into CBN, and that's been a major help. But it's not just cannabis. I mean, this is about mindset and beliefs, and gets into the microbials as well, so bacterias and so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of good stuff out there that Western medicine is not really touching on.
Thank you, Jason.
Well,
no, that's exactly. I grew my
money.
spine back, my spinal cord. I grew my spinal cord and a lot of my brain back. And so your story is just so inspiring to me, because that's
I remember
really,
we were talking about this.
That's just the truth of it, you know. And if you live in a system where everybody wants to go bigger all the time and everybody wants to be a winner instead of like really being community based, like Adam said, if we could all go to a farmer's market, get our food, know where everything comes from, we could all be taking care of this together in a very different way, and actually healing, you know, and not just chasing some sort of a profit or a pill.
Or a quick fix, right?
But it's all not bleak. I mean, let's face it.
For sure.
There's movement at the federal level. We've got Republicans in the White House, and there's been movement towards, looking at these alternative therapies.
Yeah.
Some of the more popular ones. But
Access.
I think that's pretty important progress.
Me too.
Yes.
I really
Thank
do.
you for being a part of that, both of you.
The other thing that I saw is that the Fifth Appellate Court, I think it was, had revisited the alcohol distillation at home. And that has gone to Sixth Circuit, I think it is at this point, and they have the reverse decision. So they're going back and forth. So that looks like it's going to potentially go to the Supreme Court. And this is exciting, because now we have an opportunity to address, do we really have that foundation to make things that we choose in our own home, and alcohol being one of them, cannabis being another, ibogaine,
what we have access
mushrooms.
Yeah. No, I really.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Say that again.
I said what we have access to. I think it's really important to have those conversations as adults that are all in community together. That's what I mean. These are things that we deserve to have access to through communicating with one another in community, and how we have access to that can be done in a more thoughtful way.
Yes.
Because this industry, all of these, now we have the psychedelics, all of these industries. And so I really appreciate somebody like you, Bob, that can come in and help with the integration of all of it. And
have you been
that
doing
marriage is pretty important, just like with the legality of it, and how you really do integrate something that's a brand new industry into a community in a way.
Are you talking about Schedule 3?
I'm talking about all of it together. You know what I mean?
Or are you talking more about alternative psychedelic type therapies?
I'm talking about just access to plant medicine as a whole. You know what I mean? That's like the key for everybody to just, the more people, like you said earlier, everybody had their part. Yeah. Everybody played a role, and I think being able to work together, the mycelium, all of it, all the plants are working together, and the energy, the awareness around all of it, the awareness that you may have been told a lie about what all of this was.
Yes,
and that's okay. And now you can reframe your beliefs around what it does look like to heal in this body, and have a body that's strong and healthy as you age, and what it looks like to have a meaningful experience here and not be a zombie on pills. We all deserve just access to more.
Yeah.
Well, you hit on something that's really important. And one thing I will kind of emphasize is that there's nobody preventing us from getting access to these things. There's no authority over us, right? We have, I guess you can get into 5th, 9th, and 14th Amendments in terms of, our individual powers that we have within us. Not to get too detailed in that, but what I see, and you actually bring this up as well, that shows up with psilocybin, is that Prohibition really created the black market. And this has resulted in impure, contaminated, chemically altered cannabis and other things. We see this in the food market. We see this all over the place. And so to me, it's a pattern that's continuing wherever this prohibition persists. And I think this is an opportunity to have this conversation. So whatever's going on right now is not an end game, right? It's sort of an opening to a conversation. And I think this is important because it really needs to include us as people, like we're having a conversation here. Whereas up until now, most of what's been done has been controlled by agencies, right? So FDA, NIH, DEA, so on and so forth. And what's exciting to me, and I'll kind of reference something that was overturned in the Supreme Court, what was it, 2024, which was the Chevron case. And the Chevron case goes back to basically a structure that was forced upon us where the agencies had the scientific knowledge, and we weren't able to use independent research. And so now we're at a
always
point
defer
where
to the agencies, right?
Right. And so now we have this
deference.
opportunity to actually address science from a independent researcher perspective. And so we can start to have conversations about like judicial dissolution, right? The corporate death penalty, for example, for environmental harms or harms to people and so on and so forth. And so the other piece of this that I think is really important is, laboratory testing, for example. And we see that like, that can be, I'll say, an iffy issue or a touchy issue because very few people actually understand that whole system. And fortunately, we have, Fred Whitehurst, who used to be an FBI supervisor, forensic supervisor, who blew the whistle on the laboratory issues with the FBI in terms of laboratory misconduct, basically demonstrating systemic problems with forensic science, which ends up having legal consequences for like defendants. And so I think this is still a problematic issue today. I think it still persists in cannabis testing, for example. And so there's a lot of this stuff that is exciting to talk about. And as you guys know, I've been working with the clerk, Michael Plumhoff, in the Deschedule.earth project with the goal of educating people and empowering them at the state level to take action and engage with their politicians to educate their representatives to recognize that we really should be removing cannabis from scheduling. Whether that's based on the fraud of how it was put into scheduling in the 1937 hearings when I think they deceived, for example, the American Medical Association. And actually, Dr. Woodward stated that in his testimony. He said he wasn't aware of, marijuana being a different word for hemp or cannabis at the time. And he reemphasized that actually in a journal of the American Medical Association. So I think these issues also come into play in this conversation. And so Jason, a lot of this history is confusing.
And Jason, that one's not even the biggest travesty. The biggest travesty is the LaGuardia report, yes. which clearly stated that there are medical benefits and this causes no harm to society and yada, yada, yada. And they just decided to just throw it out the door. But nonetheless, we've come a long way in a short period of time. And let's face it, it's been 10 years. We're talking about like 10 years of a commercial regulated industry on average. It's a baby.
Yeah,
it's a baby.
Brand new.
It kind of resembles that tech bubble, that tech boom idea in a certain respect. But tech's still powerful. Tech's still growing. The industry still grows. It just has its challenges.
So, with technology, we're also seeing that it has a lot of harms, and that's coming into the conversation as well. So a lot of these things, we can look at the pros and cons, but I think, if we step back and look at the bigger picture, what's exciting is that all this is being put on the table. And a lot of people who are unaware of these issues are now becoming aware and engaged. That's what I think is exciting.
Absolutely.
Very exciting.
So what do you both think about Schedule 3 and the big looming, everyone that we've had on the show just assumes the moment it becomes Schedule 3, they're going to operate as business as usual, and 280E taxes go away. They can finally take proper exemptions and run like any other business. What's your perspective? Because Schedule 3 does have the potential to revolutionize the medical use of cannabis with, tons of money behind it from a pharmaceutical angle.
And descheduling does the same thing.
Okay, so what do you? Never heard that before.
I'd like to hear Jason's
let's look at
on
Schedule 3. If you look at what's in Schedule 3, right, that's ketamine and codeine and all those drugs. So this is kind of like one of those tests you're given as a kid. Which one is not like the other? And so now we have cannabis in there, which I think is the other, right? It's not like the others. And so we really need to kind of think critically in terms of what's happening. The other thing that we're kind of confronted with, which really hasn't been addressed, is that maybe there is a possibility that the genetics that is out in the market today is not up to par the way it used to be. I mean, we don't have any of this research. There's some research, for example, that comes out of Utah, where I found that they sampled over 2,600 samples from all the dispensaries, and they found that those only came from 3 separate genomes. And so I think this stuff is really interesting to me. And I asked that question, what hasn't been researched? A lot of what's been researched has a money objective, right? Whereas most of the research that I think would be valuable doesn't have a financial benefit to somebody, right? So for example, do we really know that cannabis is the only plant on the planet that produces THCA? It doesn't produce THC, by the way. That's a non-enzymatic decarboxylation, right? That happens outside the plant. So I think these are issues that really raise...
We don't want them to find it. We'd be like, no, don't worry about it. This does better. This does it better. We don't want to... because they can do it without...
Well, so this is the other thing. Is that
they can, there's things they can produce THC on 100%. They can definitely do it.
Exactly.
They've already figured it out.
Exactly.
But nobody's pursued it because it's still... With all the money you put into it, you're probably going to produce less per square meter than you would if you just grew some cannabis. You know what I mean? Because that's actually a factory that produces the thing you're trying to figure out how to not have to produce the thing that is the best part.
Well, and that's what's so weird. It's like, to me, it makes no sense not to produce THC, especially for healing purposes. We're seeing that a lot of the media and the public information has actually been misleading.
No,
and so a lot of the research actually shows that it can improve medicine.
Misleads anybody.
Wait, here?
Can't be.
In the United States?
Misleading information?
What?
No, it is crazy because as it rolls out, the THCA thing just completely threw everybody for a loop where they were just like thinking there was something like a different plant, you know what I mean? I'm just like looking at him like, come on, guys, you don't get this. Like I actually know a guy in Tennessee who had a CBD shop and sold THCA to this cop, to the sheriff, right? And the sheriff came and he's like, this stuff really, my wife says it really, really works. Like he came back, first he got an ounce, then he came back and got a pound. And as he left, he was like looking at him like, I can't believe I just sold a pound of weed to a cop. And the cop thinks it's something different when all it is just a different name put on weed, you know what I mean? And his wife's loving it. She's like, this stuff works like so good. He's like, yeah, it's so much better than the CBD.
Everybody
stuff
wins
that
like, way, though.
No kidding, obviously. We could have told you that from the beginning.
No, it's interesting, though, that these trends are hitting Europe like slightly behind the way they hit here. Yeah. So they're still selling, for example, real just CBD flower. So not the THCA, flower, but as much as this CBD flower, and then, all kinds of products with just low dose, THC. But they're not playing the THCA game yet. But what is happening is the THCA flowers coming out of the States, going into some places where it's washed and then brought into a medical system in Europe.
Really?
So yes, and that's an interesting play too, and that's what we were talking about. Cannabis it always fills the gaps.
It's fluid.
It always fills the gaps. It is.
So just for a sec, just so we don't forget, Mr. Attorney, what do you think? Will 280E still be an issue under Schedule 3 if they go that way? Because everybody says that's how they justify going. I don't care. I'll take Schedule 3 as long as I don't have to pay 280E. Do you think that
May I actually add to that question?
Oh, sure.
Because part of what I'm seeing is that, for example, the language of Schedule 3 is also at the state level, right? So I'm seeing some people are talking about Schedule 3 at state level. Some people are thinking this is Schedule 3 at the federal level, but nothing has happened, right? So all we see is a reinitiation of this process. And I think it was yesterday, I guess, the DEA opened the registration.
No, I mean, let's just one thing I just want to say, which
please,
just to be clear on that one point, because a lot of people say what you've just said, and technically, the change of medical marijuana to Schedule 3 has already occurred. It's happened. It's merely an administrative process where they got to publish it in the Federal Register, and those things are either happening right now or well underway. The point being is the hearing on June 29th is to look at how should you treat non-medical uses of cannabis, in other words, adult use or otherwise. And that's where, Jason, to your point, descheduling would come in. Wouldn't that be an elegant? That would be an elegant friggin' solution if you just descheduled adult use cannabis, let the states do what they do, and then you created a Schedule 3 system which sells to researchers and internationally and maybe to more medicinally driven dispensation outlets versus one where you just have to be 21 or over to walk in the door. That's an elegant solution. But will this administration and this DEA look at this in the face that they're already getting sued for changing it to Schedule 3 by Republican groups, because, it's election year anyway, so there's a lot of that going on. But when it comes down to it, if you were to deschedule it, that would get locked up with litigation as well, for certain. But that seems too much too fast.
It seems too elegant. Way too elegant.
Too elegant.
They'll be like, we can't do that. That's
friggin' elegant.
That's
though.
poetic.
The other thing that I see is there's I just want to clarify this with you, Bob, if I could clarify this, is that when you're saying Schedule 3, that pertains to products, right? So the plant itself would still be Schedule 1, correct?
Well, it depends on what they accept, because importantly, the federal order, the 30-page plus thing that had come out of the AG, it says that FDA-approved medicines that involve cannabis, here's a route for that, Schedule 3. And then, this is where it was big. It said, if you're a state medical marijuana licensee, you also qualify. Now, we don't know, to your point, Jason, what that means, you qualify. Right. But that's an important thing. I didn't see that coming. In fact, there's an article in the upcoming print of Cannabis Now that I wrote before this happened that I told them, I said, guys, you shouldn't publish it because it was me predicting what was going to happen. And I never saw this coming, that the state medical marijuana licensees just need to fill out a DEA application. All of a sudden, they're registered. Now, again, it could be a trap.
I was going to say,
Admiral Akbar. It could be a trap.
That application's a little weird, though. So
yeah,
that raises a lot of other questions.
It's like you were saying earlier, like you're going to narc yourself out if you fill it out honestly, probably. You know what I mean? And in a sense, it's like, why are they even why are you asking me this question at this moment? Like, it's like there's been so many times where I've been filling out forms, and it's like, fuck, I am not going to fill this out. I'm fucking done with it. Like, rumple it up.
You know what, Adam?
I've done it many times.
You remind me of when I did my DEA application to bring seed into the United States. Everyone was like, "Ooh, they're going to investigate you." I was like, "Great," because then I'll get my permit.
Bring it on.
So it's not as scary as it seems, actually.
Right. Well, I mean, nowadays, like, especially because there's a lot of international things happening, it's becoming more normal, and it's now it's just.
And on that note, I'm excited. I'll share this with you. So I don't know if you know this, Bob, but I also have an amparo in Mexico.
Okay.
So I'm one of the early people that got the Supreme Court human right protection for cannabis, and it's unlimited.
Wow.
And so, as I understand it, if 5 amparos get enacted on the same issue, the Mexican Supreme Court directs the legislature to make a law or something like that. Does that sound right?
This has opened the doors, yeah.
That's crazy.
This is exciting. This is really cool. Are you familiar with Emmanuel, he goes by the name Abogado Verde, the green attorney down in Mexico?
I don't think I know.
I would love to get you guys introduced.
That would be awesome.
I think he's kind of like your counterpart down there.
I know several Mexican attorneys very well, and there's a lot of really good ones down there in Mexico City and beyond. Yeah, Jason, I spent a lot of time over the last 3 years in Merida, Mexico.
And
really
I was out there for a while.
Yeah, really nice.
That's where I was before I moved down to San Cristobal de las Casas.
Nice.
Originally, after I got out of the wheelchair, I immediately got on my motorcycle, and I was planning on just riding around the world. And long story short, ended up in San Cristobal.
That's the title of your book, by the way. Out of the wheelchair and onto the motorcycle.
Or the name of his album.
That was great. It's always so great to see you, Josh.
Not
Jason.
Jason. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
Jason.
okay.
It's okay.
No. I was actually hoping that Michael would come on, the clerk from Deschedule.earth, because
I sent him the thing.
I wanted him to talk about some of the specific things that he is working on, what we're all aiming for. And then the other piece is we also got data back from the Food First initiative, from William Henry's work.
I was wondering about that. You did get the info today, or?
Yeah, so that data is quite impressive. Basically, the way I say it is that the foods, the vegetables in the market are there because they can be transported and there's an economic profit. When you look at cannabis, right, in terms of nutrition, we know about the leaves. We see Chris Boucher in California with Justiva. He's making,
really cool stuff.
Awesome work.
I remember Chris. Yeah.
And then, oh gosh, where was I going with that? Oh, so then we see the seeds. So we know about, seed nutrition, obviously, with Nutiva and Hemp Harvest and all those other companies over the years.
Yeah, man,
what hasn't shown up is what is the nutritional value of the flower? And so the Food First Initiative was able to attain that data. That's a whole other crazy story because we also had attempts from USDA, NIH, and I think it was FDA. I don't know the story exactly. William Henry and Michael could tell you this, but they tried to quash things at certain points. So this data really is exciting. And what it shows is that the whole plant, with or without the seed, has close to 3 times the nutritional profile than most anything you'll find in the vegetable or fruit section of the market. And so this is the bigger picture that I'm interested in, also connects to my own healing. I think there's plenty of evidence, and this is what needs to be researched, but who knows where the money's going to come from, to look at the whole plant interaction with the body. So we see all this isolate research. I would say, I'm going to just kind of throw this out there, I think that there's plenty of indicators and evidence that the whole plant is going to perform the same, if not better, than all those isolates.
I would think. I would think better, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's true, but the isolate game, no matter what you're isolating, just seems to be the American way.
Oh, I know. Unfortunately, exactly.
Which is so strange.
And it's like it's like any time when you get into business with anything and you get to a certain level and it gets like real ugly quick, and you're like, oh no, now we're here. Like I thought we were just hanging out doing this thing, and it was so fun and everything was great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anything when it gets to a certain level gets shitty in that way. I think the food market has never been explored properly anyway, because it's like seeds are one thing and there's so much to do with that. Juicing a little bit, like it touched on it, people do it. But the thing is that the source material always has to be like real young, tender, fresh, like you would do if you're making wheatgrass or something. You're not going to take some old nappy shit.
Okay, I was just going to ask.
That's like William
Are
Courtney's
you doing...
work, Dr. Courtney's work.
And so you have to like grow a lot of it and kind of take it young and figure out the timing. And it's never been real cost effective, and it's just as horrible to drink as fucking wheatgrass, where you're like, okay, that was terrible. Not going to run for that every day. But again, there's so much like, that'll be the interesting part now, is that because they're going to have medical research or whatever going on, as quickly as, they're going to find so many things so fast, because we know there's tons of, we know it does this, and we know it can do that, and we know it can do that, and we know it can do that, but there's so many things in between that we haven't even thought about. And with AI and everything, they're going to be able to figure out like crazy fast, like all of a sudden it's going to be like, and my joke,
Zempic.
my rolling joke, now it's Ozempic, right? But my rolling joke forever has always been like hair growth or boners. if you can make boners or hair growth out of cannabis, which I know they can, because
they can make your bones harder. I don't know about the boner.
It can do everything. It can do anything and everything. So I'm sure with the right fucking strain, you'll figure it out. You'll be like, dude, every time you got to do it, isolate it, figure it out. But no, in general, I think because they have a chance to research it and they're going to go gung ho with it and have money behind them, they're going to find, and they're not told to find negative shit, because before it was always like, find out all the negative shit you can find. If you find anything positive, squash it.
I mean, that was the agency's mandate. That was its job.
Yeah, so now imagine when they turn it around and they're like, actually, it can do this, this, and this. And they're like, we don't care. Boners, hair, boner. Yeah, we got it. And then that's it.
It's the cheapest drug there is.
Yeah.
But it's usually...
And it should be free, I mean...
Well,
and that's the other thing. Like, I'm in Hilo,
woolly on us now. Stop with the free. Nobody's gonna. Now everyone's gonna.
Well,
try to
I don't mean free. What I mean
on the street.
What I mean by that is that
for medical,
like, I'm here in Hilo,
free.
right? So Hilo has a massive homeless drug problem.
Right.
Massive. Like if I step out this front door and I film the street, every probably 15 feet, you're going to see someone sitting on the sidewalk that's homeless with mental issues, drug issues,
a lot of ice,
something else.
A lot of ice out there.
No, I noticed that when I was there.
It's really awful.
Yeah, it was really an interesting. The vibe wasn't good in that regard, obviously.
No, I walked into a little shop when I was there, and it was like confusion was just in the air, right? Everybody there was like highly confused, and I was like, all I was trying to do was buy something, and I was like, it's fucking complicated right now. Like everybody's tweaking out, and there was like a tweaker over here and a tweaker over there. And then I look at the person who was working the counter is kind of tweaking, and I'm like, dude, this whole fucking place is fucked up. And this is like, middle of Maui somewhere, and this is like not even in the worst of the worst. And so yeah, it was crazy.
So the reason I bring that up, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because what I'm seeing in my research, like I wrote a little paper on my website, you can find it's called The Cannabis Story on lauve.com, LAUVE.com. And I found a reference to a bunch of stuff, and basically, I'll just sum it up, is that by removing cannabis from the CSA, and if the USDA, I'll kind of just put them out there for now, I don't agree with any of the agencies at this point anyway. If they were to have, say, jurisdiction over the cannabis plant, I think we'd likely see a major shift with people who are prescribed pharmaceutical drugs. I think they would explore cannabis as an alternative. I think the evidence shows that probably close to half of alcohol consumers might switch to cannabis, and we are seeing a decrease in alcohol consumption. I don't think it's because of cannabis. I think just people are looking to be healthier these days. And then on the illegal drug side, I think that we would probably see at least a third of those individuals switching to cannabis. So when I say free, I think that is actually something that should be considered in terms of, gifting a certain part of the population that is in the dire straits to help them shift away from fentanyl and things like this.
Yeah,
that's a whole conversation in of itself.
And they have some new drug now that's all of a sudden hitting, and it's like stronger, and Narcan doesn't work with it. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, it's getting to the end of the fucking rope now.
Wait, you can't use Narcan to save someone?
They said it takes like 3 to 4 times as much. It's like
xylamine
or something, or xylus something. It's fucking, I was like, okay, that sounds bad. They're like, yeah, it's about 20. Everything's always these crazy numbers where they're like 20 times, 100 times. It's like, so we've already somehow leapfrogged from baseline heroin up to, fentanyl, up to above fentanyl, above to, it's like, oh my God.
Wasn't the attorney, not the attorney.
Thanks for showing those images in the background, by the way.
Yeah, this is all the stuff you're doing down there.
The Surgeon General.
So that's like hemp houses. There's the video with Fred Whitehurst about the laboratory stuff. There's images of my legislative work. There's images of me being in the milpa, the farms of the ejidos of the Mayan folks. Oh my gosh, the stories are incredible.
Yeah, you're definitely always.
There's Stan. Stan Garnett. That's who prosecuted me. He's now a good friend.
Stan Garnett.
Yeah.
Stan Garnett. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Wow.
That's funny. That is great. He was a hard-working man.
Next you're going to say Gatewood Galbraith.
Oh, yeah. I know Gatewood. But no, Stan Garnett, that's a crazy story right there, right?
That's sitting on top of the decorticator
look at that.
In North Carolina, holding the hemp flag. Yeah.
Hemp flag days. Yeah.
That machine, so that's one of the parts of the decortication machinery to separate
is that
the
Bruce, is that Bruce's thing or somebody?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, the guy really messed up on that. That's a quagmire.
Has it ever
that's
turned
a whole show
on?
in itself.
Has it literally ever turned on?
I don't think so.
That's the name of the show today.
It's one of those things where it just sits there, and there's only 2 in the country, right? Or is there? Or like
I think there are a couple that are about to go online. Yeah.
But the funny part is, if you go and look into it in China, you can get like a decorticator in the field like for 10 grand. Like it's like they're so cheap. It's like, why are we like pretending like this is so hard? Like, just like can't do hard work anymore.
I think part of it is, for American infrastructure to be built, you got to have a lot of demand for the biomaterial. And there's still, despite the fact that Levi's and Wrangler and all these different companies have used hemp, and all that stuff. Legos, I think. Legos was talking about making hemp.
I had this crazy. I had a crazy vision when I first came here. This is still my old school. This is like 13 years old, 14 years old. But in general, it was, when I first came here, I was like, oh, this is going to happen, right? There's so much land. There's so much like farms that are just sitting there. I could see like a rusty sign, proudly grows for Coors, and there's nothing happening. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, this is it. Like, this is going to happen. And then it kind of did, but it got all sidetracked because people focused on CBD. And then all of a sudden they were like, dude, we got to grow this. We got to grow for this one cannabinoid and then throw all the rest of the shit away. And you're just like, what, dude? You're killing me right now. Like, you're going for the least productive
back
part
in
of
the
the
day,
plant.
that stuff was gold by the kilo. I remember I was working for a company called Canavest, and they had this CBD gold that came out of Southern California, Potway. They sort of had a place with hemp meds, if you remember those guys, Jason. And so they wanted to ship.
That was that pyramid scheme thing, right?
Well, listen, on one side of it was, but the isn't that
the guy with the plane?
That was
is that the guy with
Bruce
the plane?
Perlowin.
That's where he's talking about. That's for that.
Oh, that was Derek Kessick.
Derek Kessick. Holy smokes, he was that.
He's the plane guy.
Yeah, alleged plane
guy. That's a scam.
So there was a plane that you saw, and its article comes out it came out like every 2 years again. Like it would be like the same article,
same pictures,
like same thing. And it was this plane that they were going to build. It was a hemp plane, and it's like you're looking at it, and you're like, that is a fucking sick looking plane. That's out of hemp. Like, this doesn't make sense. And then
that's from Velocity Aircraft out of Florida.
Of course, it didn't make sense because it wasn't true. And they took, and it was like he just milked so many people for money because everyone was investing into that thing, and it was like they milked it so many times, and he got busted, and people would just look it up. And I'd be like, people would send it to me, and I'd just be like, dude, this is the fakest shit ever right here, and they just didn't believe.
I called Velocity Aircraft and talked to the owner about that, and found out all the details. Yeah, that's an interesting pathway. I don't worry about that stuff anymore. I mean, to me,
the problem
there's more focus for me on staying positive.
I think the problem that we all saw, Jason, and everybody saw in the hemp industry is that all the misuse of the product and the reality that people treated it like, you couldn't use this to do this, and it was just like, dude, then I thought hempcrete was gonna fucking just take off like crazy. It should have.
Remember the H house, the hemp house we talked about many years ago,
and it just building, and it was really
they're building more of those places. It's just not scaled like maybe you thought it would.
Well, and the thing is, nobody's growing it on the site, right? They're all trying to bring it in from places, and it's kind of like, it would be way cooler of a project if you could like get the permission to grow it right there, show people where it's coming from, make it on site, because it takes, the numbers are perfect, right? It's like every 2 acres you got a 1,400 square foot home, right? So you just do like 2 acre lots. Everybody gets to cut their own shit down, bring the in-field decortator right there, decortate all the stuff on site, break up the herds, put the herds in this, take a fiber to sell it to somebody.
And it's the oldest technology in the world,
And the problem is that we're just we're too lazy, and B, we don't build shit proper anymore. Like, our shit is just garbage. Like, if you look at how the things were built before, everything was cast in steel and fucking heavy duty and just built strong. And now it's like, we could do it in 3D, we can 3D print everything. And you're like, you can't 3D print something to cut down hemp. Hemp is like going to rip everything up to shreds. We've seen it every time someone puts something in even here, like when the first field came down, we were all excited, and he drove the tractor like into 30 feet in, and it got all jammed up, and it was like, that's it, we're cutting by hand.
That was crazy.
We're all cutting by hand. I was like, really? We gotta cut the whole thing? And luckily it was like probably the worst field ever grown, so it was like there wasn't a lot to cut compared to what we.
There was like one plant every.
It was
15 feet or something.
There was pigweed everywhere. It was like the worst learning curve ever, but we definitely
we did it.
We did it.
And then we did the next year in Sterling, and that one was a great success. Yeah,
right.
It's funny because one of the guys I met here actually acquired the seed that I used on that project 4 years later. It had been abused, I'll say. And didn't germinate very well.
Yeah, no,
the original stock was wonderful stuff.
And that's the thing.
So here's the other thing that you're hitting on is that, for example, a lot of people are like, hey, let's make hemp plastic. And I'm sitting here going, but in the same voice, you're aware of all the microplastics. So why do we want to keep adding to microplastics? And there's a complete understanding about biodegrading, hemp plastic. That's the other issue.
I mean,
I love these ideas like what you're saying, but some of them really aren't practical. Well, and to me, why are we talking about plastic? Let's go back to glass.
For sure, and it's also the that's the one thing you can't do out of hemp, right? You can make everything except for steel and glass, but pretty much anything else you could replicate in some way, shape, or form, right? But I mean, the plastic thing for sure would be
it's useful.
Obvious. But the whole problem is that it takes $50 million to $100 million to build the infrastructure to do the processing, and someone's got to take that risk, and then they're going to be all like, they want instant returns, and the reality is we're talking about farms and timing, and
you need to create that pull through from, let's face it, corporate America, and that requires political leadership on the specific hemp issue. And we've seen little pushes here and there, but you just don't see it because it seems too pie in the sky. I mean, what was it? That Popular Mechanics magazine, Jason, back in the 30s, right?
The 50,000 uses.
The next $1 billion crop.
$1 billion
They're
crop.
talking billion with a B back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Right,
here we
exactly.
are still talking about this $1 zillion crop.
Because everything you guys say, they don't listen. It's like you put the experts in the room as the advisors to advise the municipalities.
I thought America would do it because they had the opportunity, they had the land, they had the space, they had everything.
No.
Just nobody had the infrastructure
And
built
the history
up,
with it.
and nothing. It was like everybody's out collecting metal, and then they go. There's nowhere to scrap.
You had-
You know what I mean? Like who's gonna buy all this stuff? And we're like, oh, we didn't figure that part out. It's like that's all you got to do is figure out where the fuck these people drop their shit off so they can get paid, and then the next people and then. Every farmer got kicked in the nuts, you know what I mean? They all got dreams, like started calculating per acre, $100,000 per acre because they were doing the CBD per, and it was like $80,000 a kilo for a few months.
Biomass.
No,
Your kilo of
it's
that's
isolate.
the
Isolate.
key issue.
Like the isolate.
Isolate, yeah.
Isolate was $80,000. Then it dropped to 40. Then it dropped to 20. Then it dropped to 6.5. Then it dropped to fucking 2. Now it's 275.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like it's the biggest drop off ever, and all that equipment that I literally know people who have barns with millions of dollars worth of equipment in it just sitting there empty now and doing nothing because there's no one to run it. There's no price. It would cost you more to turn it on right now than it would to do anything. So there's nothing to feed all this industry.
And there's just a little uncertainty about where that's going these days.
Of course. And there's little spurts here and there, but for the most part, it's like it got ruined quick. Like I watched people invest so much money. Went to MJ BizCon one year with a group of people, spent like over $1 million just running around like, we'll take one of those and 2 of these and 3 of these, and it was like ship it all to here, and it was
6 of those naked lady tees.
and it was like, this looks good on you though, right?
Hey, that's the ugliest hat I ever saw.
and it was just crazy. It was like one of those nuts moments. And then a couple years later, you go back, all those companies, nobody exists anymore because there's just no reason to buy any of those things because you can only buy $250,000 machine which does one thing, you know what I mean, once in your life, and you have to pay the guy to run it, and it's just like, and you got to feed it this material that used to cost a lot but it made a lot of money. Now it costs nothing and it makes nothing, and it's like, or you can't get it. It's expensive if you wanted it.
The people who almost made the CBD industry are the people who called around and said, I need 500,000 kilos of CBD every month. And it's a pharma company. They're working with Coca-Cola.
Everybody got
contracts. I got contracts.
Everybody got the call. Everyone got the same COAs.
I need COAs.
Everyone got the same letters. You know what I mean? And you saw it like kind of like come through like a wave where it'd be like, are they making us try to like attack each other, like fight, like get to the point where people were like losing friendships over it because they were promising the world like, oh, dude, I don't need you anymore.
I'll do it for this.
Our guy in New York.
Yeah.
Remember, what did he call me? Because
stingy because you wanted 1%.
1%. I said, I'll put this together for you, no problem. I know somebody.
And it was like that,
but
50,000.
I said it's 1%, but that 1% was massive because it was a big thing. And he called me a greedy Jew bastard right to my face. Okay.
I was like, what else are you gonna ask for? Nothing.
How do I ask for less than a point?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
It was a rough one, but there was those days like it was crazy. It was like every day was like numbers. People's calculators were running out. Their buttons were breaking on it because people were pushing the buttons too hard, getting all excited.
It doesn't go that far. Wait, no, you got to turn it sideways.
We're gonna be rich. You know what I mean? And none of the. I don't think anything. I didn't see only when things actually were really materialized. There was like 9 brokers in between, and it didn't make anybody money. And it was like, oh, I didn't realize. Like, oh yeah, you didn't know that went from that guy to this guy to this guy to that guy to this guy to that guy to this guy to that guy to this guy to you.
And to 4 people.
And then you're like, what? And everybody gets this, oh, I thought I was getting, oh.
So many fake pictures and so many fake COAs going around that there's the stories of brokers trying to sell each other the same exact thing because they just have a picture in a COA.
I watched it multiple times. I was just like, oh my God, did I go full circle too? Like, Jesus. I saw people that were waiting on themselves. That's how bad it got. Like, they were like, what? Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be here? And I'm supposed to be here?
Yeah, but at
like,
the end of the day,
sense.
no matter what hoops we jumped through, the industry did great because of it. Okay? There was a lot of innovation. It's still booming. We still think that we're going to get 280E relief. No one expects that the government's going to control everything, but maybe they will and maybe they won't. But I think you put you three in the same room, you'll come up with the solution, and then the government would ignore everything. So, what do we do from here? If they go Schedule 3, they're never going to deschedule, right? I mean, it doesn't...
Unless you can create a line in the
I like
sand,
exactly what you said as far as, like, as you saw it, I was like,
between
ooh, that could be
adult
nice.
use and medical.
Yeah.
What's the line in the sand? Right. I'm not here to tell you what it is, but is it scientific based? Is it policy based? Is it something akin to just hemp and marijuana, but just moving the THC percentage in hemp way, way up so that widespread adult use THC is lower dose and higher dose is for medical and state-based programs that provide people to access natural products.
I'm playing the cynic.
I don't think this is the...
You're both
I'll use an
absolutely
example.
right,
This is probably not
and
the
they won't
best
do
example. But here's one. So we know we can buy aspirin, for example, and I know this is not the best example because aspirin has its own sort of history, if you will. But we also can buy willow bark. And so I have a choice. I can use willow bark or I can use aspirin. And so that's the same thing that I see coming forward. I can use an isolate pharmaceutical or I can go ahead and use my cannabis plant. And this is the other thing that kind of comes up for me in my own trial is, you know, and Bob, you kind of brought this up earlier, is medical marijuana is a different definition than cannabis sativa L. Right? That's a different definition than THC. That's a different definition. So I think we really have to be careful about the terminology that we're using. Names and words do matter.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, the language.
The other thing I'll just throw out there at you guys, and this comes back to Hemp Lifeline for the Future, I think is the title of Chris Conrad's book, right?
Shout out to Chris Conrad and Mickey.
Yeah.
They're
so
awesome.
Chris really put together an amazing book because it has all those references in it, right? The other thing that I wonder about that is what did our country look like prior to 1937, right? So we had hemp all over the place. Think about all the pheasants and all the nature, all the natural environment that existed just because hemp was there, right? The soil was cooler because we grew these crops that shaded the soil. We had less erosion. We had less contamination in the soil in terms of salts or aluminum and things like that. And so I always wonder, why is it that the environmentalists haven't jumped onto this bandwagon? Because it really addresses so many things, like with my Hemp Cleans project or all these other things we see out there regarding, you know, cleaning soils or our own bodies for that matter. I'm just amazed by these other sort of groups I think
that, like you were saying about Chris Conrad, like the beginning of that book where he basically is like in this sort of dream utopian world of like, I wake up on my hemp bed and I put on my hemp socks and I walk down my hemp carpeted stairwell and I put on my hemp toothpaste and I get on my hemp bathrobe and I drink my hemp. It's like he just was naming all the things that were all, and actually a lot of them came true, and you could almost do that. You could build a hemp house and you could wear all the hemp clothes and you could like bathe in it and you can do all. So he's kind of right. He kind of nailed it. But then the problem I see is that it's always being in the hemp industry is that we were always excited because there were so many fucking avenues, and I was like, dude, something's got to hit, right? I mean, we're hitting every, we got clothing, we got this, we got that, and it was like, but in every department, it was expensive, because it was limited, right? So you're always competing, and everybody's got more and more price fixated, and people could get access to things. And like H&M killed the clothing side because people be like looking at our $300 jacket, and they'd be like, oh. But then I see these same people 20 years later, they got the same jacket on. I'm like,
something's changing.
You get your money's worth, I guess, right? You get 20 years out of that bitch. Like most people buy a new jacket every year now, and people's quality of their clothes has gone down. And so
refrigerators, Adam, refrigerators.
Right.
Before there was ice machines and everything else, a refrigerator lasted 30 years. You couldn't, and nowadays, I'm just.
You're lucky if you get 10 out of it.
I'm just saying.
Oh, everything
built-in obsolescence.
Nothing is built properly like it was. Like that's what I was saying about how
vacuums,
how like the hemp, and so the problem I see is that hemp was always highly competitive. It's too good. It lasts too long, and it makes people doesn't make people money like it should. Whereas you got these like plug and play things, and you can like pump it and throw this thing away and not worry about it. You make 1,000 of them for the same price as you're making 100 of them out of hemp, but the 100 out of hemp are still here, and those are all gone and disappeared. And so it kind of just was always like too good. You know what I mean? It was too good of oil, too good of textiles, and too good of paper. So all those things too good. And then when it comes to fuel, that's been like I know, you know Mike West, of course, right? MC West?
Yeah.
So his dad works for Chevron. Yep. And so he grew up like with knowing the inside scoop of what they were looking for. So he was like determined to get the hemp program going, and had the backing of his dad saying like, not, he'll bring it to the board if you can get it down to $2.33 a gallon at that time. This is like 2012 or something like that, and he was like close, but he was also in that market where you're still working with a product which is barely able to get enough of it to really turn on the thing. And I mean, even with him on the inside with his dad and all that, it still kind of went nowhere. And I could see how frustrating it was, because you're dealing with like, this shit's just coming out of the ground, dude. We're not fucking doing anything. You're putting a lot of energy into this, and to balance the energy inputs and all the things, it's like, it has to. It's like electrical cars. Like right now, everybody's all excited, but we haven't got to that point where they're all in the landfill, which they're going to be soon, because most of these things don't last either. They're just like these refrigerators. They're not made like the cars from the 50s and
250,000.
So you hit on something, Adam, really, really important, and I'll add one more piece to this. Is all those numbers, all this estimates are based on the current efficiency models that we see. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Omega car. It's built by a guy named Casey. I can't remember his last name right now.
Does it run on water?
He's running for governor in Iowa against Vivek. Anyway,
he
built a diesel. It's diesel.
Yeah.
It's a 100 mile to the gallon diesel vehicle that he built for under 30 grand. So this is
built new, like he's building them now to sell, or he
built a model, a demo model that's in his garage.
And
he speaks at some of the
it's good. He's not dead.
Don't give his name out.
He speaks at some of the automotive shows.
Oof. Yeah, they don't want to hear that though.
Yeah, they I think they do at this point. I think there's something changing.
I mean, diesel, I guess they could imagine, because they feel like diesel's kind of like, it's always been.
You have to maintain the use of fossil fuels in the United States. It's an absolute must.
Yeah.
That's why we saw so much of delight. Remember that old Ed Begley, maybe was the guy? He did that EV store story back in the day. That was back then, and there was technology that was much worse than it is today. But now you got the influx of the Asian-produced electronic vehicles, right? And they're cheaper, and they're all end up, to your point, in the landfill. But diesel fuel.
Well, they're bricking up now. Like all these Teslas are bricking up, so people are like, it's like a phone. You know what I mean? You're just like, what am I going to do with this thing? I can't do anything. It's like,
get a new one,
get another one. It's like, okay, and then people are getting into that mode, and soon, I mean.
Batteries in landfill.
Tesla's doing some pretty crazy stuff. You see that new program that he's doing, where like you go to bed and then your car goes out and drives for it. It goes and makes money.
Cybercab.
Like it basically cybercabs like around the town, and
it's not to bed. It just takes you where you're going.
No, I'm saying you go to bed. You go to bed.
No, you don't even have to. I'm saying
it's like those Waymo cars.
Yes, right? Yeah. And so now, so he's building.
But an Uber,
which are causing accidents.
He's building a quality where it's like, okay, you buy this car, but the point of buying this car is that when you're not using this car, it needs to go out. So imagine like how many people are going to leave shit in their car, and they'll be like, fuck, it's out there with all my weed in the car, driving around. People are like, what's in the back seat?
No,
Like,
it won't happen.
Why?
Because there'll be cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
There'll be an AI in the car,
It'll say-
and it will tell you dropped a tiny little piece of yellow something.
See, that's
Please pick that up.
Well, listen. There's actually a bill that was introduced just last week by Colorado's favorite Congresswoman, Lauren Boebert. And it actually is quite libertarian-esque. And whether it has a chance, I have no idea. But what it says is you cannot capture images of people without their permission.
Their permission.
So in effect, it codifies that as federal law. Now, again, does it have a chance? I don't know. But think about how that disrupts that.
Yeah.
Your phone does that, right, Bob?
Well, that's your car. That's the scary part about like the minute I think about Tesla, I'm like, nah, dude, there's no way I'm getting in one. There's no way I'm ever going to get a car that has so many cameras on me while I'm driving.
But it's safety.
I know, but I'm not.
It's just, but it's
not
safety.
feeling it. I don't care.
Yeah, the
But-
government's really
yeah.
concerned about your safety.
Safety,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
It's bad. Like it was bad when I would rent a car and it had the fucking that. What was that service? That's that one that you have that you call out and they can talk to you.
Something OnStar.
OnStar.
yeah.
Oh, I'd be so
OnStar,
tripped out by that. I'd come back to America and I'd be like, dude, you have OnStar in here? I don't want to talk about nothing
Hold
in
on.
here. It's like,
Do you
someone's
know-
just sitting there listening like, these guys are smoking weed.
Are you guys all aware that after 2020, any car that has a 2026 sticker on it has what I can only refer to as a Cylon kill switch in your car that the police can activate under the guise of no more high-speed pursuits? So imagine some fucking hillbilly figures out how to hack it, and every woman who drives past his house, he just uses it to turn a car off.
Oh, jeez, that's a
Next
movie.
generation.
That's dark.
Hold on, this is
Dark
the
Dave.
movie
beginning.
script.
Just the
Dave's been
beginning.
thinking
Not a
about
joke.
this.
Next generation of car that's coming out, I believe they said 2027, will have so many cameras in the car that it will alert you if you are driving what they claim to be erratic, which will be anybody who smoked cannabis. Okay, they'll know.
Why are your eyes shifting around like that?
Anything. It's an AI robot. They're going to know. And they're
I
gonna
still
use
want to know how I rode a motorcycle so many miles while using cannabis and had no problems. But anyway, that's a whole other coordination.
Well, just, I mean, just think
That
about
sounds lovely.
Well, think about the difference of when we were growing up and like we were all like, thank God there wasn't fucking phone cameras. And now
Right?
it's like to the point where you are literally
You
getting
just
into,
be-
you're just like giving up to the fucking man. Be
Everything
like
all the
sitting
time.
in a car, getting cameras that could be hacked by who knows who. And
flock.
And
Adam, think
flock.
about that for a second with these young kids. They go to a club and they don't dance because everything's recorded. So
Yeah.
now imagine a kid goes up to somebody, gets rejected, and that's recorded, and that gets blasted all over the internet.
Emotional damage!
There's gonna,
Yes!
there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of that, of course. I mean, it's crazy, like how, like you're saying, how it shifted people to not do things because they don't want to be seen on camera, and it's like we just, we didn't. We're kind of a little bit sometimes ignorant to it because of the fact that we grew up with no cameras. So sometimes you'll think about it and you'll be like downtown and you'll be looking around and be like, dude, there are so many fucking cameras. Dude, there's
Everywhere,
It's crazy.
everywhere,
Like
everywhere.
downtown Denver, tons of them on every single corner, every block. You
Oh,
see
yeah.
4 things.
That's something that actually shocked me in Mexico. I'd be in San Cristobal is known to be one of the poorest areas, but yet they have probably the most dense camera system that I've ever seen.
Like
Like 6 cameras on every
London's
street corner.
London's a good example. And those people have gone insane over it. They're like cutting them down with shades out
Yeah.
there because they do the ones with the
Blade Runners.
Yeah, they'll do the ones with the cars coming in, cars going out. They'll tax you for it. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
There's a guy.
Same in Amsterdam. Amsterdam's got crazy thing. All EV cars now on the inside and no gas powered cars.
Well, listen, you guys, I got to shoot out of here,
Yeah,
but I
let's-
did want to say to Jason, I was thinking about your question a moment ago, just was chewing on this. And it really goes to the bigger question of why haven't people embraced hemp, like from the environmentalist or environmental activism side? And I think that comes down to the way I look at it is if you had a big firm, like one of these Goldman Sachs type international firms that manages like these sovereign wealth funds that have enormous sums of money, and they invest in things. So if you took, and this is a real world example, I won't say for where or when, but this is what they're looking at. And they wanted to get about up to 10,000 hectares over time and grow industrial hemp, only because it was a low cost way, like less than $150 per per hectare, maybe 300 per hectare, to plant it full of hemp. And then you have the carbon credit and the carbon credit trade, and then they sell these to the big corporations. But the point being is that, I think, becomes a catalyst for the additional growth of hemp. Because if I'm just growing it to claim the carbon credits, at some point I'm going to say, well, I should do something else with this plant. And we know what we can do with the plant. So that's, I think, the interesting piece of the puzzle. Well, but I think that's what pushes.
So, for example, if you build a building, it's also sequestering more of the CO2.
Yeah, if you use hempcrete, you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, because you can prove that on paper too, I'm sure, with numbers. But yeah, that's a good example of a way to actually make it work, just because that carbon credit bullshit is happening on a scale too now. And I've talked to a bunch of people who have right away seen angles and working deals, and I'm just like, okay, I think this might be.
When the Democrats are back in power, which it's a pendulum swing, the ESG stuff, which was prevalent under Biden, which is a requirement for corporate America, forces companies to look at alternatives like that. And in this time, under this environment politically, there's not that incentive. So when that swings back around, I think you'll push things. You need that government push, I believe. I don't want to rely on the government. And I agree with you at 1,000,000%. They don't listen to us. But if there's an economic reason, or maybe it's an economic, why would Trump be the one that signs an executive order that does this and does this? Let's not debate Epstein. How good it is. But they did something that you never would have thought they were going to do. So I don't know.
Well, we've always said from the beginning, it's like the other side doesn't want to let the other side be the ones who make everybody happy by turning it into a good ruling that makes sense for everybody federally, right? And so that's why it's always been kind of like, we'll wait. You're gonna no, and then everybody would sabotage. Even if they wanted it, they'd sabotage the other guy because the other guy can't get the credit. So then it's just that classic back and forth.
And why are you surprised that Trump wants to legalize cannabis? The Democrats were the worst
they fumble
to
it.
cannabis
like Tiki
people.
Barber, man. Fumble.
Bill Clinton
and this doesn't seem like the end game
still
either.
in jail.
Yeah. There seems like this is just another step forward. I still think that there's going to be something else that comes after this. I don't think this is an end game.
Bob, how do people get in touch with you if they want to find and solicit
they want to start a really successful business in cannabis?
Yeah, no. If you guys have problems you don't think you can solve yourself, you can call me and I'll help you do that. Easy to find me. Just I have a website, bobhoban.com, and you can go through there, and it's bob@bobhoban.com. Just email me. But listen,
original.
you guys, I just wanted to say, first of all, Jason, my heart goes out to you. I'm so happy to hear you're doing great, and you got a big smile on your face. That makes me happy, and I'd love to see you in person sometime. So let's text each other after this and come visit. But good to see you, and you guys. This has been long overdue to come in here, and awesome. Really, really awesome, man.
Thank you for hanging out. Have a
doors
great time.
always open, and we'll keep you in the loop if we do anything fun.
Please do, please do.
And just like dogs, Jeff Guard, we're not petting another dog. He's not our guy. You're still our guy, Jeff.
Okay.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff's like, what's he doing on that show? Wait a minute. That's my idea.
You guys talk to another attorney. We know it. I know it.
No, thanks for
your time.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys. This was awesome.
Thanks,
this was
Bob.
great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob.
Peace, Jason.
Yeah, and so give us a little bit, since Michael didn't join us, so give us a little background on what he's got going on. So that you said those results came in from the
Foodfirst.us.
Foodfirst.us.
Have a wonderful evening.
Nice one, guys. And that was what you were talking about earlier, as far as they're getting like 3 times the levels and all that. So that's right now getting sort of.
That's getting
turned into a white
basically
paper. Is it a white paper?
Yes,
or?
it's getting prepared to present to the public and put out there. We've tried a couple times already to have some publications printed up, and we asked them starting back in January. We kind of got the runaround. We felt like back then, and then we reapproached them just a few days ago and got the same kind of runaround with different excuses. So we're a little taken aback because the first message was like, hey, once you get the data, we'll print it. Now it's saying, oh, we don't want to print anything premature. So it feels like we're getting a little bit of a runaround in some of the so-called friendly publications in the cannabis world. So we still have to cross that hurdle. We've come across so many barriers in doing this.
What was the process on the consumption of full flower, though? What is it? Is it like turning it into flour, or what does it do? How are you?
What do you mean the process?
Well, what are you doing for like you said those test results? Is that just in a lab, or is that with the people, or is that with how is that working? Like,
so that's laboratory nutrition.
Okay.
So
it's like petri dish shit.
Yeah. So basically, they're looking at the entire. I actually have the paperwork here. I could bring it up, but it's basically goes down the entire testing model of what is in the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So vitamin D, amino acids, all those kinds of things, omega-3s, da 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 da.
Is it just the leaves, or is it all?
No. So this test. So up until now, all we found was information about the leaves and seed, and so this study includes the flower. And this is something that I noticed, and William noticed, and a couple of other people started to say, wait a minute, there seemed to be a nutritional profile in the flower that we're not talking about. Now, most of the nutrition is framed around vitamins and minerals, right? But there's also interaction with the terpenes in plants in your immune system and your the way your body digests and so on and so forth. And so that's something that we're trying to shine light on. That there's a whole other component that hasn't been talked about in overall nutrition.
And somebody doing you know anybody doing any kind of like studies on like on the boots on the ground, actually grinding it all up and turning it into some product and getting people to.
So that's really the next step, is taking this data and starting to go down that experimental
Because I guess out of the gate you'd go for animal feed that way too, would be like considered.
Correct.
Instead of doing it as
that helps justify all this. Yep.
Yeah, and instead of doing it as a because seed for animal consumption is expensive as fuck if you start
Correct.
thinking about the processing going involved and all that compared to like doing flour for it. And it would get into the food system quicker, and it would be beneficial from that point of view, and it'd be a lot easier probably to get it to government to pass that before they get it into the actual, turn it into a product that's.
Well, that's why I wonder, because we're seeing like this movement with the raw milk, for example, right? And so I question a lot of this stuff now. At first, I was on the same thought pattern as you are, but at this point, because we're seeing a lot of these other things move in terms of being accepted, that's what's kind of prompting us to push this in that direction. Is maybe there really is a way to avoid having to do the formal testing, if you will. And this comes back to like the Chevron stuff.
I'm sure it'd be easy to find people to eat weed. Come on.
Exactly.
Eat some weed. Now,
I started doing. There was an article I think in Westward that they wrote about when I was doing juicing back, I don't know, however, a decade ago. But that kind of didn't go anywhere, and that's kind of where Dr. William Courtney's work is focused. It's on the nutritional juicing side, right?
Yeah, I think the problem is there. You got the volume and the timing and all that's really critical, and it's a kind of a harder one to catch the window compared to. I mean, unless you had a place that was growing it on scale and they could go out and they make sure that, because the key is you want it to be obviously super clean, right? So you're not going to use. You're pretty much going for like.
Well, we grow other foods and we process it. We don't worry about how clean it is, So, I think if we treated it like any other vegetable,
if you could buy it,
be incorporated.
If you could buy it fresh, cut fresh, and people had the ability to get it moving fast enough, because you know how manky that shit gets too. You don't want to be.
Well, the other side of this, Adam, is like we look at some things in the market. Like I'll look at corn, for example, right? We can eat corn on the cob. But then corn is also used processed, right? So it can be miscolatized and turned into masa for tortillas, right? So there's a transformation process that affects its texture and taste. And so obviously, when we hear about eating the plant, we think immediately, oh, I'm going to eat the flower, right? But what if it was actually incorporated into normal food processing methods, not the super processed food stuff, but basically maybe ground down into a flour substitute or something like this. And so I think that's a food science question as to how could that be incorporated into our foods. And the other side of this is we also see that nutrients have been pulled out of bread, out of flour.
Yeah.
So we see.
Did you see New York? Do you see New York made it like
nutrient deficiency issue?
Microbiome nutrient. Yeah.
They took the folic acid or something like that, which is being added to all the 90% of the
flower
that's
flower
in New York, and I guess they made it illegal.
So
there.
dangerous.
And so now all the guys are freaking out because it's like that's their whole. What the fuck with that? Oh yeah, and I think folic acid's bad, right? You don't want that in there.
Only if you're a pregnant woman or just about to be.
Well, no, that's folate. So I think we're confusing. That's where a lot of the words get confusing. Like we hear about chlorine, chlorite, fluoric acid.
Fluoric, not folic acid. Sorry.
Folic acid. Excuse me. Folic acid. Oh gosh, where was I going with that?
Folate.
I just lost my train of thought.
Folate and folic acid.
It's in most of the bread in America, right?
But it's as you point out, it's different. It's different molecule. No. Folate and folic acid.
Folate, I think, is a different
okay.
thing. Yes.
That's
all I know is that we destroy. There are what? How many? 28 ingredients here in the United States that are considered unhealthy and against the law anywhere outside the United States. We spray.
Yeah, Standard American Diet. The acronym is SAD. Look at our population from the food that we eat. We're poisoned.
A lot of work to be done.
I think this is great. Sorry, Jason. I've been smoking really great hash all day. It's always wonderful to have you on. I apologize.
I haven't had anything to puff on today. I got to go find a friendly Hilo person.
Oh.
This is a good thing, actually. I've been testing out one of my new formulations this morning, so I stopped smoking for a little bit. Yeah. Oh, so folate, they're both essential for growth and DNA formation. Folate's a natural form found in foods, and folic acid is the synthetic form. Just throwing that out there.
Thank you guys for clarifying that.
Understood.
Thank you guys for having us on. I'm so happy that I was able to be here with Bob. That was amazing.
There you go.
Y'all are great. Yeah. That was really lovely. It was
one of those like, there's a perfect combo right there. I knew it. I knew it was a perfect combo.
It sure was.
And I was actually very happy with a lot of his replies. It was very cool.
Well, we talked a little bit beforehand, like thinking, we came to the understanding between us that it was going to be a good point counterpoint. That nobody was going to start off on the same team always, because really Bob represents the business interests of this industry, and sometimes those business interests are the same people we were just complaining about. So it's hard to reconcile that. We need them, but we also need.
He's got a thoughtful approach.
Yeah,
he's somebody that you could sit across the table, disagree with, and still maintain.
Well, the funny part was that he's from Jersey, and then we got to go to the Jersey Shore to hang out with the other guy who was on there before you were on, and that was hilarious because
I watched that. That was funny.
Was great. That was great.
A hot mess.
He's a character, the driver.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool because Adam, you and I are originally New Yorkers, so
same with Dave here.
Next door,
Dave.
Dave.
Over here.
Paisan.
Exactly. So no, it was funny because I could see Bob being all like, "Oh, this is awesome! I get to hear."
Yeah, that's pretty cool to
a Jersey
see.
guy roll around and be a fucking Jersey guy in the fucking Jersey spot that he knew, which was like classic. Because I was like, it looks like they just took the spot. He's like, took the whole fucking thing.
Nostalgic.
High times. Oh, high times.
Well, how do people get in touch with you if they ever want to? Do you have an email?
If you want to really reach out to me and hear this crazy mind work, just look up lauve.com, LAUVE.com. You can look up Mr. Hemp, Jason Lauve. I'm sure somehow you'll discover me. I'm out there.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And then also Deschedule.earth.
Deschedule.earth and foodfirst.us.
Those are the two things you guys should check out.
Spectacular.
And then also there's like a template, right, to go to the senators and the...
Yes, so that's really what I was hoping that Michael would get on with, is that we have a template that we're starting to push out there. It's basically two very simple questions. And if I can bring these up here, let's see here. Give me a second, if you may, and I don't think I'm going to find this here.
It's okay. Bob's gone. We're not paying $800 an hour anymore.
But basically, the questions are, if cannabis came up for a vote, would you vote yes or no? And are you willing to work on a descheduling bill? I think and I might be paraphrasing those a little off, but that's essentially the essence of this. We want to show accountability. And the reason I think this is important, if you look at what just happened with the Farm Bill, right? Glyphosate was in there, and they just passed the Luna Act, which removed glyphosate protections. So I think that if we put our heads together and actually make these calls at state level, I believe we can make a difference.
I think so too.
They just showed it to us with the glyphosate.
Okay.
So don't give up. Call the switchboard, if you will. Call Congress. You actually have the number right up on the
Right
screen.
there, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your
Jason.
time, Jason.
I
Thank you, guys.
appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Good to
Until
see you
next
again.
time,
Peace.
we'll report hopefully on the meeting with Bob when he comes here next week.
That's awesome. How perfect is that synchronicity?
Isn't that wild?
Tuesday, I'll be there. It's like bam.
Love
done.
it.
Exactly. Have a good one. Great to see you.
Thanks, bro.
Mahalo.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Take care. See you soon, Jason.
Until next time. Cheers.
All right, peace. Da-da-da-da-da. And he did it.
Wow, he's a youngster.
He's still a youngster at heart, obviously.
I think I did.
Youngster.
I figured it out for him.
Oh, you did? You figured the fade? He's there. He's right there behind the fade. You're like, he'll be like, I'm still here.
How do I turn this? Vinny! Vinny!
Let me see.
So, of course.
Oops.
That was wonderful.
Very nice.
That was very cool. Very cool.
Did I tell you guys what he said to me when I invited Bob on the show? He's been waiting for this call for years.
Oh, that's good to hear. There you go. See?
Yeah, he was really excited.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
There you go. Nice one. So, well, guess where he got to go?
So High Studios.
That's right. He got to sit right there at the hot seat of So High Studios. If you are in Denver and you want to come hang out with us, it's going to be here. It's going to be at So High Studios.
I think they enjoyed it.
Come through.
Oh yeah, and we have on Thursdays we've got the
Sports podcast, Sports Fiends.
Sports Fiends. They're always on time. I heard.
Are they?
They're never
Ooh,
like
Always
this
on
makes
they're
sense.
never like us. They're not
No.
a weed show. They're a sports
No.
show. So the sports
Well,
shows.
whoop-de-fucking do.
Whoa!
I even had the lieutenant come in for that one.
Lieutenant. Oh yeah.
Check
That's what
him
I'll
out.
call. That's what I'll call the new landlord. from
New
now on.
landlord. Yeah, he's not landlord.
He's a
lieutenant.
lieutenant.
Yes.
I'd like to give a shout out to Melissa at XL Energy.
Oh wow! Look at that. Shout out. So you know she's listening.
Hi, Melissa.
She's been waiting for
And
this
if
whole
you
show.
click on this one, if you go to the Adam Dunn show, you can check on some of the new videos here.
I've noticed some new videos
If you-
uploading again. I saw Mitch talking the other day using
There you go.
the More Science on the Adam Dunn show.
See, right
That
there, that's got the shot.
actually, Dr. Mark said more science.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go into that clip, there's more science on the
But
Adam Dunn
now,
show.
is
right
that
there.
the first time he was ever on a podcast? Dr. Mark?
I'm
think
not
it
sure.
may have been.
I think so.
For the 1 year anniversary show?
No, just right there. That show, I think, might
Scaldone.
be his first. Scaldone. I think that may be his first.
Well,
ever.
he's done a lot of firsts.
No, but exactly.
This was
I need to-
2014.
I know, and that was pretty early in our career. So
Yeah.
that's one of his first. I think he came in there and was like, oh, I've never been on a podcast before. So, see, I'd like to get.
But he'd listened to two of the podcasts that we were
I don't
talking
care about listening.
Dabs.
I don't care about listening. I'm talking
You
about being
popped
on.
his cherry.
No, he had listened to our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
What Adam is saying is, can he
That's
be
his
the
first.
first of the
I
first?
think that was his
Because
first.
now he's a regular on Hash Church, so everyone thinks he's like a
Right.
pro. And I'm like, that guy.
No,
We
had
popped
him
his
in-
cherry over here.
popped his
How did you
cherry.
get to use the idiocracy in the card?
How
there?
did you get to? You just put it there.
No, I mean we don't get flagged for shit like that.
No.
Okay, cool.
Why
I don't know what
now,
you're talking
we- now that you put it out
So
there.
wait, is the second one there? Is that the
The
kids'
AI
camera work?
Yes.
The way up high shot.
No. No.
This one here,
The second one was us. That was us.
but that's how.
There's
That
no
was,
kid there.
I think he was running that one.
No, that's over. That's at Metlo.
Yeah,
we
that's in
just
Metlo.
worked with where we got. We didn't have any choice.
And this one's up to 5,000 views in 6 days.
Look at
with Ed,
that. Ed
hunting the real
Rosenthal
stuff.
hunting the real skunk with Mr. Rosenthal.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was in my. That was when I was floating in between.
Yeah,
Loading.
that was a good one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We could
That
do a
was a
whole
good
show just on the comments of that show.
Really?
Well,
Tell
you-
us.
Well, there's like, I want to see. I think there's.
Oh no!
I could
no!
Dave's got to see himself.
Don't give this.
Come on.
Look at.
What is it?
Here we are. What, how many?
92 comments.
Oh, 92 comments.
144 likes.
Mostly about
92
Dave.
comments.
Mostly Dave.
No, man, you could do a whole show just on the comments.
Really?
Yeah, you need to go read
because
it.
it's skunk. Everybody gets real emotional.
Yeah, you need to go read it, and we
Yeah.
could get a couple of those people
There's
because they say
some-
that they got it.
Should I read it, or am I going to get triggered?
Triggered.
No, go through there. There's nothing triggering in this one.
Oh.
There
Now
are.
I took all the triggering out now.
I
Who's
could.
this one person who always like wishes us? He's like, "Hey, Dave, sending love from like Tucson," and Next one, it's
from the
Akron,
cartel
Ohio.
in Mexico.
Yes. Yeah.
Who? Who is it? What?
Somebody sends a message
Every week.
every week in the
Yes.
comments.
Yeah.
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 Really?
Somebody says, "Hey" from somewhere.
They're
Hey,
not,
Dave,
and they're never
this
in the
is-
same place.
No,
it's-
That's kind of interesting.
Hold on, I might be in here. Hold
I
on.
like that.
Hold on. Let me
I
see
was
if I
just gonna
can.
say that seems fun.
I love it.
Yeah, we don't know.
See,
Oh,
I've
look
been
at-
growing
there's a
Why do you
long
wanna-
one.
since the 90s. Oh, there we go.
Since the
We're
90s.
54 minutes ago, people be chiming in.
Ooh,
Convince
growing the same
Americans.
skunk since the 90s. Oh, let's get him on here.
Let's get them on here.
Yeah.
Get him
Hold on.
on. Let's see that skunk.
Let's hold on.
I mean, how does that work? Where do the comments come from? Is this from when you re-aired it, or
Yeah,
No,
this is a new one.
They
video.
have
Yeah, there's a new video we put up. This
Yeah.
is a whole shortened.
I love it.
He's doing little shorts now, and now we're getting like 5,000 views on one video there, which is crazy because we haven't got 5,000 views on nothing lately. So.
Love it.
Grambo got 185,000 views.
We are
on,
up 300.
on a video of him just in his fucking kitchen,
Oh, rambling.
rambling and doing
Rambling.
total rambling.
Total rambling.
185,000.
So maybe we
Wow.
need Ed to
Rambles-
do more things like
ramble
eat and go
grambles.
to the bathroom.
What?
No.
No, I don't think that would. I don't think that's gonna work.
We need Katie to dress more provocatively.
That one hit a nerve there.
Katie looks not provocative at all. What are you talking about?
This
No,
one,
we need like
No, she's
slutty
doing-
stripper or something.
but check
like
that out.
What?
144 likes,
Why would we wanna do
5,000
that?
views,
No, we don't need
92
that.
You know,
We
comments.
want the
Stacey
right-
told me
And
this.
next,
because I didn't
seeds here
understand.
now. Spring
You're
is in
trouble,
full
right? You're-
swing.
Hey, squirrel!
HR is gonna call you.
May is popping off at Seeds Here Now. Breeder of the Month, Lit Farms, 25% off. Premium Genetics,
Did he
Next
make any
Level
new video?
Fire,
Did he make a new video?
and new at price you don't want to miss.
Is there a
Flavor of
crazy
the
Eddie?
Month, Citrus, 25% off.
Did he make a new video?
No videos.
Oh,
Hold on. Last time I put the video. it was not
25%
allowed.
bright,
No,
tangy,
he's put it
turp-loaded
with-
strains that bring the sunshine straight to your garden.
Nope, he didn't send me a
Clones,
video.
everything you need.
He sent me one, which is a video of a video, but it's not very good.
Everything you need. Buy
close.com.
3, get 1 free, plus free shipping. You pick your lineup, we'll ship it fast. Clearance. Got a real 60% off. Clearance.
Clarence.
Stock up on legendary genetics before they disappear for good. And don't forget, flash sales are dropping all month long, random, fast, and packed with heat. Stay ready so you don't miss out. Ready to grow? Hit seedsherenow.com and it takes advantage of the freshest deals of the season. Seeds Here Now, America's Seed Bank.
America's Seed Bank.
All right. Thanks, James. Thanks, Marky, for getting that to me.
Yo tip. So we got Bob used a yo tip. You should be using a yo tip. Stay safe. Don't pick up hippie lip, conference cough, wook flu. I mean, it's the summer months, man. You're going to be standing around sharing joints. You need to keep safe. You also need to
Sharing
make
joints.
any pre-roll hit better. And the way you do that is you put a yo tip on it. Check out that clip. They've been using it on the site. That Tommy Chung loves them. I don't know if I can't officially say he endorsed the product, but their yo tips are such a great company and a great product. So you go to yotip.com, tell them you heard about it on the show, or you go to Yo Products LLC on Instagram. Give them a like and a follow.
Ozo Coffee.
Love these guys. I guess the discount is working. I didn't check, but I did.
Rosin Dogs would have told us.
He would have
if it
told
was.
us.
He would have been on it.
I love these guys so much. I kind of, all I see in my head is Justin and Rebecca putting a backpack on and going to Nicaragua and Peru and, you know, certain places and just breaking bread with farmers and then buying the beans green and shipping it back so that Katie can take it
And boof it.
and boof it.
Yeah. After all that, go straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up the pooper.
Ozocoffee.com. Done deal 2025. Is it or is it 2026? Rosin Dogs, tell us.
What?
Well, I don't know. It's
Buildasoil.com.
Hey,
855.
someone out there used the
877
code
soil.
again. Thank you for that. Codes are being used.
Thank you, Mike.
Definitely go get some Build a Soil. It is the season.
Right now. it's
Send us some pictures of your whatever you've got growing in Build a Soil. We would love
Oh,
to.
look at that.
We'll
See
shout you out.
what you're
We'll
working
We'll
on.
narc you out.
We'll knock you out
We
on
won't
Patreon.
knock you out. We'll hang out in Patreon. You can come kick it and show us your gardens.
I
That'd
might-
be
I might
lovely.
have
I'd love to
some-
see
Show
what
us.
everybody's working on.
I might have
I
some
agree.
plants by the new pool tonight.
Whoa, plants by the new pool.
Plants by the new pool.
Join us on Patreon always.
Buildasoil.com. Check them out.
Hey, did I sound like a cop?
Done deal on checkout.
BuildSoil.com.
Don't forget about our buddy down there. Where's his product? How come it's not front and center with up there with fucking Rootwise? What the hell? Fermented plant. Fermented plant.
Is it on the front row? Front row.
What?
I don't think it's on the front row. Anyway,
Fermented plant
BuildSoil.com.
extract.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, is there?
Heart and Soil Project.
It's your hash.
Heart and Soil Project on Instagram. This is like old school farmer. He not only makes CBD, but he raises and
chasing
slings his
pigs
own
around in
pig.
the fucking yard.
Yep.
Brett, you're phenomenal.
You know, once you're doing that, you know you're in
cooks them
This
too.
family's,
I know.
yeah, this family's.
He ain't just chasing them.
He ain't just chasing.
He ain't
He's
just chasing
cooking
them. Cooking them.
Cooking
Yeah, no, he's doing good things. So check him out, Heart and Soil Project.
.com.
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 Grovebags.com.
What a product.
If you
Everybody
didn't
I talked
notice,
to-
they were in Jersey. They
Huh?
had the homeboy was popping up his product up in Grove Bags out there in Jersey.
Oh yeah, they got it all dialed up. Everybody's using them. Everyone. That's the crazy part now is that we're literally at that part where, if anybody's taking their product seriously, especially if it's like an event and they got like 20 samples, 30 samples, 50 samples, whatever, and they have to do that times 100 people, so you start looking into it. They get custom stuff from these guys. It adds to the product line. Everyone knows it's quality. It keeps everything nice and fucking just keeps your shit stable, which is awesome. So if you're taking that long to grow your weed, you should probably put a little extra energy into
Terp
it.
block it.
Exactly,
Put it
conserve
into
it.
terp block.
For cultivars, for distributors, for dispensaries, and custies.
It says Custy right there.
Yeah, custies.
Dusty.
Nice. El Custarino.
Yeah, grovebags.com.
Lance Lambert.
Mr. Lambert.
.com/done deal. Terpwipes.com/done deal. You do not need to put in a discount code. It'll be populated for you. You want a subscription to this product. Trust me. Terpwipes.com/done deal.
Numb nuts.
Threw him on the ground.
The boy's like,
Oh shit! Adam Weiss needs to come to the
He's
show
coming.
soon.
He knows
soon.
He knows
Put
it.
the word in the pocket. I put the bat signal out a while ago. I'm like, come on now.
Numbnutsco.com.
Get over here.
Peanut butter,
Come see us,
almond
Adam.
butter, chocolates, THC, CBD, CBN, sleep peanut butter,
Ooh, that good shit.
daytime peanut butter, cookies and cream.
Pet
Numbnutsco.com. What is that? Spicy Thai peanut
spicy,
noodles.
yeah.
There we go.
Recipes.
Yeah, I know.
Check it out.
Numbnutsco.com. Done deal at checkout. 20%
Not only do we
off.
love Jerome Baker glass, we use Jerome Baker glass.
Yeah, we do.
So, we love it. We use
While we're remembering, Vinny, do you by chance have a stem for one of his bongs I can borrow?
That was funny to see Hitman today.
Did you see my broken one?
No.
That was funny. Seeing Dougie.
Oh, yeah,
That was
yeah.
hilarious.
Wearing the dead hat.
Anyway, if you were not paying attention last week, you can get still some of the stuff here
Yep.
at JeromeBaker.com.
Took him a day to put it up, so it's up there now.
And
though.
now you got
Okay.
jbcustomer.cannacryptid.com/gallery. You should be able to find it. You get into the bougie stuff here for sure.
Bougie.
Bougie stuff for sure.
Limited edition.
Limited edition.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, bro.
Aurora drip. No prescription needed.
Also, check him out. Oh, I forgot that. Well, he had the other place where he was working too. The
Yeah,
glass
it's
blow place.
Maui glass
Maui.
blower.
Emporium.
No, there's two of them. So they're right across the street, he said.
Yeah.
Holoshealth.org. Tell
Maui
me you heard
glass.
about it on the show. 20% off your MMJ evaluation or your psychedelic advisory session.
There you go. All right. If you want to go find Danny, he's downtown at the Garden Club. What is the Garden Club? It's a legal cannabis dispensary. You hope you weren't expecting gardening supplies, but we do spell flowers.
What was that-
Cannabis, flower, and more.
What was that other guy that was showing us his thing? What was his name? His was
Who?
called the Garden.
I
something
was
too.
gonna.
Huba?
The other guy. The guy
The
that
other
was
guy?
showing us his
In
fucking
garden?
Jersey. He was like, "Look at this! I got this."
It was some
Oh,
from the garden.
well, there'll be. It's at the beginning of the show. We'll
Full
find it.
cheese.
No, I want to know if he's how many
We
gardens.
can always have
It's like
Rosin
every
call
garden
back
the
in
world.
for
Everyone's a
Patreon.
garden over there.
Yeah.
That's like Mile High of the fucking
The names
of Jersey names. Hey, Godden over here.
I forget what it was. Oh, should we go with Hortitech Direct first?
HortitechDirect.com. Tell them you heard about it on the show. 5% off
Actually,
any greenhouse.
I need numbers. I need to call them and I need to get a span made for Kyle's fucking balcony at the
There
spot.
we go.
That'll be perfect.
HortitechDirect.com. The best greenhouses in the industry. They will survive any environment in the United States, from super wicked hot in Florida and Texas.
I think super wicked hot would be up in Boston in the sun.
Boston.
Boy, fucking wicked
I think the one
hot.
just got delivered over to the restaurant.
What? Nuh-uh. That would be crazy.
HortitechDirect.com.
Anyway, the fire department called. We'll talk about that on Patreon.
We got fireman talk over there on Patreon.
Fireman talk.
Fireman talk.
Yes, I am. Zura, 420 sales, April 4th through the 30th.
Zura.
So if you want to experience what it was like in 2004 with Adam and a leaf blower at the Cannabis Cup, only in a handheld version, this is it. Zura.com.
Zura.
Done deal at checkout, 20% off your order.
They definitely hit hard. It's one of those. It's one of those things where I saw it online and I didn't believe it. I said, "Get it, we got it." I was like, "Believer, instant believer." And then I showed it to everybody else, believer. So it's like, if you want to just fucking blow people's minds in a car, it'd be sick.
Oh my
God.
I'd take it on public.
While driving,
I'd go
across
public transit.
off a bridge, maybe over a bridge.
Just got on the
Definitely
A
get
train.
one and try
Yeah,
it.
get on the A train out to the
Whatever Adam
airport.
says.
That'd be awesome.
No, you need to put it in the cup holder, hit the button, and just go. Be like, go, just like try to get over the bridge before the thing clouds out too much. That'd be a good fucking idea.
Oh, you're
That is a classic Adam idea.
That's a great idea. I think it's a
Do not do that.
two racing side and then coming at each other like chicken. That'd be even better.
Do it while wearing your Colt jacket.
In the Colt jacket, wearing your Colt jacket.
Send us a selfie.
Send us a selfie as you're driving towards the other guy wearing the Colt jacket of a different color, of course. And you have to do chicken run over a bridge.
I love satire.
And
That's in the description too.
And then you turn on your Zura.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Zura.
So if you go here,
Put it in. Yeah.
and then
Ed's
go
already
here,
there. He's already.
and then go
You're
here.
trying to find the disclaimer?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
This program is for entertainment and information purposes only. We are not medical professionals or legal advisors. The views expressed are those of the guest and do not constitute medical advice or recommendation to violate any state and local federal laws. This is completely satire.
We couldn't do it without you listening. If you wouldn't mind.
Thank you guys for hanging
Yeah,
out.
click the
and
like.
subscribe button.
We're kicking it now.
Yeah.
We got 300 more % this week.
300
Wonderful.
more
Thank you
percent
guys.
this week on the Adam Dunn Show.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys. Next week we had people lined up already. What was the deal? Tiana's coming? You said 2 weeks ago, oh, 2 weeks, so-and-so's coming. I was like, ooh, don't do that.
We'll have to go look.
Hold on a second.
I thought it was a comedian.
Oh, yeah, the comedian. Yeah, and I thought
The 15th.
No.
The comedian's the Friday the 15th.
No, that's not next week.
That's not next week.
Nope, that's the week after. So you're
Right.
playing way too far ahead for the Adam Dunn Show.
No, I'm just saying because he's coming to town then.
Okay.
Okay, Dave.
We'll figure it out. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
So we don't have anybody playing next week.
We don't know. We'll check the log.
Captions long.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
Thank you, Vinny.
Checking
for
in this
hanging
week.
out.
It was very fun.
the
And
hell's
next week,
going
we
on?
don't know what the fuck's going on, but we'll figure it
We'll
out.
be here.
Come over to Patreon. We may have already figured it out.
Maybe.
That's where we
Help
tell
us figure
that's where we
it
tell
out.
the secrets. All the secrets.
Oh yeah, I was out on the street. I'll let you know.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
Vinny's
I want to
gonna
hear
give us a
this.
report from the streets.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
Peace.
We should tell them.
No.
I usually go hot mics, but not today.
Sweet. Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sesame. Sweet.
Some call it landspread, and some people call it